you need to turn your mic off or anything to cough or have a drink or whatever, you just hit any of those buttons and it'll... yeah, if it's green, but it's just weird because I'm there, but then that's you. Yeah.
Okay. But this is me, obviously.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, sorry, that one's you.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why it's a little bit confusing. And then that's you.
How does he sleep, by the way?
Oh,
Good sleeper?
good. We're finally getting 5 hours.
We at Caribbean Sanctuary. We just finished our tour. Had such an amazing time. My favorite animal was a crocodile, of course. He was a monster. That's who I am, a monster. What was your favorite?
My favorite moment was seeing the little baby Joey, the little baby kangaroo, and feeding them. This was absolutely amazing.
Yep. So until next time, Preacher's out.
Game 2 of this NBL Blitz on the Gold Coast, proudly supported by Experience Gold Coast. It is Melbourne United and Cairns kicking their pre-season campaigns off here at the Carrara Indoor Sports Centre. Melbourne United and the Taipans both ready to go. Joel Peterson with you, Pete Hooley alongside me, and Ariana Prather, a new member to our NBL broadcast team this season. Halls, I will start with you. Very good to see you back for another campaign. It's very exciting.
Look, anytime I get a chance to come up to the Blitz and the Gold Coast, I'm looking forward to it. And in particular this game, because there's a couple of things we'll talk about, but I think not a special guest, it's a new part of our commentary team. I'm very excited that you're here. We're looking forward to working with you throughout this entire year, but it's good to see you.
Oh, thank you. I'm excited to be here. What an amazing game one we just saw. I know a lot of fans weren't expecting that outcome. I know they were not expecting the Bullets to pull it off over their team, but they got it done. There's just so many offensive weapons that they have, and I'm excited to be here.
We saw you in the opener, Ariana, experiencing some of what the Gold Coast's got to offer and some of what Australia's got to offer. How long have you been out here for? Of course, with your family as well.
Man, so I've been out here maybe about 5 months now, and I'm absolutely loving everything. Australia, my little boy, he's 3 months old. He's an Aussie, so he's the Aussie of the family. And what a beautiful country, what a beautiful place to be. I'm just happy to be here.
So, of course, husband Casey playing for the Bullets in the early game today. How did you think they and Brisbane went?
Look, I think the Bullets have been underestimated, all preseason. Everyone put them, kind of as the bottom two teams.
I did.
I know. A lot of people did. But look, you see that they have so many offensive weapons. That's what I'm most impressed about. And with Nathan Sobey not on the Bullets, I think James Bateman stepping in and doing what needs to be done is absolutely essential.
Tell us a little bit about your background, both the playing side of your career and then the broadcasting side of your career.
Okay, so I played in college, made it to the Elite Eights, was at the University of Louisville, unfortunately suffered a torn Achilles, so that kind of took me out of the game, but still part of the game. I was able to get a job with the NBC Sports Washington in DC. I cover the Mystics, I do a little bit of the NBA for the LA Clippers, and now I'm here with the NBL.
It's very exciting. We're very fortunate to have you. We're looking forward to hearing and seeing so much of you throughout the course of the season in our games based out of course, the Brisbane Entertainment Centre primarily, and, of course, up in Cairns as well. So you'll see a bit of the Snakes this season. You'll see a bit of the Bullets this season, as well as all our teams in the NBL. What are you looking forward to in terms of covering an NBL season? We had one of the closest seasons on record last year. We're so lucky to have such a competitive and high-level competition. As you come into your first season in the NBL from a broadcasting perspective, what are you looking forward to?
I think you hit the nail on the head. The NBL, without a doubt, is the second best league in the world. I mean, the second to the NBA, the best league in the world. If players aren't able to play in the NBA, they want to come to Australia, and I think that says a lot to the league, a lot to our coverage. I think it's just going to be super entertaining. Every game is going to be competitive, like you see. You have underdogs, but you never really know who's going to win every game.
It's nice. Look, I can't speak on behalf of our entire commentary team because I don't know everybody's background, but finally I get someone else with multiple degrees, like master's degrees. That's where I'm sitting at, and a lot of people are so around. It's really nice to have you on that level. Weirdly enough, watched a lot of your stuff before you came out, so I'm very excited to see what you bring to broadcast. I think you're going to take this to another level. It's going to be awesome to see. So I'm excited for that. Obviously, an old championship teammate of mine as well, and Casey Prather, a good friend of mine. It's great to see him back in the NBL. It was great to see him in that game. But I think we're all going to look forward to watching the Snakes this year as well. You talk about Brisbane being underestimated. I think a lot of people are underestimating what this Cairns Taipans outfit can do because Adam Ford's coaching them. So they're going to play hard every game. And this in particular, a Blitz game where a lot of people might not show their cards. I was just down on the court, JP, and I was talking to a couple of people. Melbourne United are taking this game seriously. And when I say seriously, because in the last decade, Cairns have had this little mental edge over Melbourne United in the regular season. They swept them last year.
The Josh Roberts game.
And a lot of people, even back when in 2018-19, I don't think I won a game in Cairns. Now, that matters. So they're trying to say, hey, let's try and get off to a good start. If you get a little mini win here, it goes a long way because for a long time, when it came to a Cairns and Melbourne matchup, Cairns just came out on top. So let's see, because the other side of that is it's a preseason game and as Chris Golding doesn't get out of first gear. So there's one way or another, something's going to give.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing CG. Of course, he was very prominent in Derek Rucker's top 15. He was very prominent at awards season last yeare. And Pete, 6 minutes into the broadcast, we've already got a mention of your championship in. So you are in mid-season form, my friend.
Casey told me to. It's one in there. It's one in there.
Absolutely love that. You're just getting a little bit of royalties on the side. So, of course, Adam Ford back in charge of the Cairns Taipans. Dean Vickerman, the ever-present at Melbourne United. Rob Lowe, Jack White, Ian Clark, Chris Golding, Shea Illy is Melbourne United starting five. The Cairns Taipans with Taron Armstrong, Rob Edwards, Sam Wardenberg, Tanner Groves and Pedro Bradshaw. So 3 new faces, Pete, for the Taipans in Edwards, Groves and Bradshaw in that starting five among a host of new players for this Cairns Taipans lineup.
It's the great unknown, right? This is what I've been looking forward to getting up here in the Blitz in the Gold Coast is because we've seen other teams in the preseason. We've seen a lot of the Bullets in the preseason. We've seen Melbourne United. We've seen the Phoenix, but nobody has seen the Taipans. So what exactly are we going to expect? One, they're going to play hard. That's just a non-negotiable for Adam Ford. But I think Rob Edwards is going to surprise a few people. Comes with a very good resume. We'll talk about play for the Delaware Blue Coats. Got a call up to OKC at one point. He's been very active on social media as well. If you've seen that, he's been putting I think he has a laughing emoji on speed dial. He's been using that a lot on Instagram. But this is Taron Armstrong's team, second year in the league now. Again, wants to get to the NBA, was close to potentially getting a two-way contract this year. It didn't happen. Big test for here against Shea Illy.
And I think that someone else that's going to surprise the crew for the Taipans is Tanner Groves.
Big fella.
I think that, one of my biggest pet peeves just in life general is a big man that doesn't know how to use his body, doesn't know his true skill or size, and you're not going to see that from TG. The head coach calls him the 6'9" pit bull of the team. He knows how to use his body, and I just love a big man that's mean, that's nasty, that can use his body inside and doesn't, fool around with all those dribbles, but will just do the work early, turn around, drop step, get it to the bucket early, bang on you if he has to, and that's what we're going to see from TG from the Sooners.
He's from the far northwest in Washington. He looks like a big lumberjack as well, does Tanner Groves. So he'll be banging among the trees this season. He can test the tip with Jack White, and the Snakes will get us underway in their snake print unis. Melbourne United, of course, with a bit of a refresh this season in terms of their uniforms and logo. And immediately, Edwards trying to get into his groove. Adam Ford had an eye on him throughout the off-season and was looking forward to seeing what Rob Edwards could provide for their team. Rob Lowe back in Melbourne United blue.
I was just about to say Tanner Groves will learn the scouting report, but Rob Lowe is a much better shooter than that. Tanner Groves has to respect that, because that is what Rob Lowe has made a career of, is stepping out and stretching the floor as a big man. Injury
replacement signing, of course, at the start of last year, Pete, and brought back on
came out of retirement.
Yes, absolutely, and now featuring for Melbourne United full-time is the big Kiwi.
There's something in the water about retiring Melbourne United and coming back out of it, isn't there? Dave Barlow, now assistant coach, didn't officially retire. He knew it was a chance to run around again.
Of course, Jack White's another one with NBA experience in recent times who comes back to this Melbourne United team to replace Luke Travers. Man out of Gippsland in Eastern Victoria. Illy gets a hand in. So he's going to be one that, you lose someone like a Luke Travers to the NBA, Ariana, and you think, oh, how are we going to replace him? Having someone like Jack White coming back into that Melbourne United lineup is a very handy replacement.
Absolutely. He's very respected, and what I love about him is that he's just such a competitor. It doesn't matter who he's playing, when it is, preseason, real season, whatever. He's going to go out there and give it his all every single time he hits the court. I'm a huge fan of Jack White's game.
He'll have a bit of a chip on his shoulder this year too, no doubt. We know he was part of the Nuggets on a two-way deal when they won the championship a couple of years ago. And even before that, when Melbourne United won the championship, yes, he's a championship player, but he had his Achilles injury at the time as well. Not being on the floor to help win that makes him feel some type of way. He wants to add his own imprint on a championship series. I'm looking forward to a big year out of him. And the other one, Sam Wardenberg, I'm really interested to see how he goes in year 3, right? Up and down season last year.
Few injuries, concussions.
He's had the injuries at the wrong time in his career. He's missed out on multiple summer leagues because he got injured at the wrong time. Was just over there basically getting the experience. But now he's playing back at the power forward. Adam Ford went out and got Tanner Groves to allow Sam Wardenberg to thrive in the power forward position. And I think he's going to do that.
Well, here he is running a lane. Lowe gets a piece of it. And Wardenberg is fouled, so he can go to the stripe. Of course, the Next Gen Award winner a couple of seasons ago. Such a smart player.
It's interesting. That's going to be the big X factor about the Cairns Taipans this year is their two leading men, regardless of how many points Rob Edwards puts up, Pedro Bradshaw, Tanner Groves. This is Taron Armstrong's team and then Sam Wardenberg's team. Everybody else has to fit around these young stars, and they know that. It would have been set out in pre-season when guys were recruited. Adam Ford got these other guys around these two youngsters to say, hey, we trust you. Another year under your belt of experience, and let's go get it.
I think something that all the players, all have in common is that they love the fact that they're able to play freely, right? So they're not in any set offense. If they have a lane, Armstrong's able to take it. No one's overthinking the game. That's the hardest thing for players when you're playing for a coach where you're scared to make mistakes. They're able to just go out there and play freely and have fun.
Golding nails the three, but the foul.
Well, I don't think it's a foul.
For that,
I think something's going on with the clock. Chris Reed blew the whistle. I thought it might have been an offensive foul. It's not. So Chris Reed's talking to Dean Vickerman now, and you can expect Dean Vickerman and Golding are a little flat because that was a wide open three that's going to be waved off.
Golding might have just had it in second gear as he hit that three as well, I think, Pete.
Nah, impossible. There are certain players who can get away with not flicking a switch until the real thing's on. He's obviously one of them. I've noticed the last couple of weeks with the early games before the Blitz. I'm going to keep watching this week before to see if there's any more that fit that billing.
I'm interested to know from you two in your playing days how you approach pre-season. Were you one to really get up and about for a pre-season game, Ariana, or are you happy to just cruise through?
I'm a Jack White, okay? So every time I step onto the floor, I'm going to go get him, okay? I was a dog. I might look, all dressy, girly now, but I was a dog back in the day. Had the cornrows to the back, baggy shorts. All the players roll up their shirts and stuff nowadays. No, I was wearing the baggy shorts, baggy uniforms.
Who did you model your game after?
Oh, I loved Maya Moore, and I loved Candace Parker.
Yes.
Huge Candace Parker fan. She was able to do everything. This was back when, I was looking at her YouTube highlights, and her and Maya Moore, those two were exactly who I wanted to be.
I'm so glad to hear Maya Moore's name because I think it was... So there you go, Chris Reed explaining that it was the shot clock. There was no sound on the shot clock when it looked like it was expiring, so they put a second on the clock, which, to be honest, if there's time left on the clock, that three should have counted. That's the way it should have been. If there's still time, if you've gone back and had a look, there's time available, then that three from Golding should have counted.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why not have another go?
Hey!
And why not hit another one?
There you go.
Forget your shot clock.
Well, ball don't lie.
Right, I'll do it again if I have to.
Golding just does it anyway. Oh, he's a marvel. He's Chris Golding. Doesn't look like he's slowing down anytime soon. Well, Groves on the step through. That's pretty.
That's the footwork I like to see from him. I'm telling you, he can do it all, and he's going to be a special, special player this year.
And he gets his hand in at the other end as well. Undoubtedly. Taran Armstrong trying to push Shaylee down to surface paradise.
Yeah.
I love that from Taran Armstrong. The
you
aggression.
love it. Oh, okay.
That was not taking a backward step.
He's got such a high ceiling, Taran Armstrong. We know what he was able to do last season.
That's a foul.
And Golding gets a call early doors. So.
And again, a lot of people don't like that, with the leg kick out. We talk about it throughout the season. There's certain players in the league, but if you watch a lot of the way that Chris Golding shoots, even his wide open ones, that's the way that his body goes. Leaning back, especially when you're coming off this double drag, double down screen there, when you're fading away, you're leaning backwards. There's certain players, and a lot of people get upset about the Bryce Cotton, they're fouls. You've got to give them landing room, and especially even if they land on the same spot, because he's not jumping forward, right? He's jumping up, it's just his legs are going out with that momentum. You've got to make sure you don't clip them on the way through, and even Rob Edwards knew. I've cleaned him up as I've tried to get past after getting clipped on a screen.
One of those things you just have to know. And Edwards, honestly, you have to do the work early when you're guarding someone like Chris Golding, because you know that that's what he likes to do and that he can knock down that shot so effectively. So you have to either get over that screen early or make that switch call early as well, because if you're late like that, you're going to foul every single time.
And don't take that away from, if you are trailing and Chris Golding knows you there, he's going to do well. He's going to get the foul.
Yeah.
He knows he's been around long enough that he will play for that as well. That's a veteran move.
So Goldie's got all six for United. White with some good defense on Edwards. It's a sharp start for the men in blue. Clark is a big re-signing for United, the sixth man of the year from last season. Groves, the drop off to Armstrong, who gets fouled. So what is this man's ceiling, Pete? Taron Armstrong. There is so much intrigue about what he could do.
An NBA player is his ceiling. Absolutely it is. And it's definitely achievable. As I said, there was a lot of talk in this offseason about a potential two-way deal. That didn't eventuate for this year, but he's still so young.
Why is he an NBA player, though? What do you see in his game that you like?
It's obvious is the court vision. That's what he does. But the size of him in the point guard position, the feel for the game, it is that Josh Giddey. Yes, Josh Giddey is very high on what he can achieve, what we saw from him in the 2 years at college as well. And again, whether that is a massive year this year and he gets a two-way opportunity and then gets that from there, I would have loved to see him at Summer League. I think he pulled out late for the chance to do that. But again, going to Summer League doesn't probably suit his game either. Summer League's very unique. It's not for everybody. It's hard to thrive there.
Seems like the sort of game situations are where he's really going to thrive. His feed inside to Rob Lowe. There's so many new faces for this Taipans team. Kyron Galloway coming in off the bench this season. Kyle Adam not suiting up tonight. And there is a finish. Beautiful scooping move from Armstrong.
Good patience early in this one as well for Taron Armstrong off that ball screen. And Shaylee gives him the same medicine, an offensive foul. They've had one each now.
And Ford another year in charge of the Taipans. We've sort of been used to his style of play over the last few years, Adam Ford. Of course, you can get NBL 25 ready. Scan the QR code on the screen for your chance to win a big prize pack. So a signed NBL jersey, NBL tickets, 3-month KO gift card, and $130 NBL store voucher. Don't miss out. Scan the QR code on your screen to get involved. You might be able to get your hands on one of the new Melbourne United jerseys, if you're so inclined. Edwards with a slashing move.
It's that aggression from Rob Edwards. Nickname is the Microwave. Well, given the nickname for the Microwave of the Delaware Bluecoats, and I mean, putting two and two together, it's probably because he likes to heat up quick, I would assume, Joel. That's probably the only reason.
The Microwave. I've never heard of that one.
It's a great sport nickname, isn't it?
Did you have a college nickname?
I did not. Definitely not the Microwave.
Pete, what about you?
College, no. Besides, I mean, I didn't give myself pistol, but that came from my assistant coach in college, more so before I even played, I assume, just because. So I kind of ran with that.
I like it, though. I like Pistol Pete.
I know, but then a lot of people think that's why I got the nickname, but it's not.
Oh, okay.
There's no similarities in the way that we play. But if we don't get into it, it sounds good, so I'm okay with that.
Dellavedova in the game. I didn't know if he was going to play or not, so I'm excited to see him on the court and see what he's going to do this year.
If there's a basketball game on, and Matthew Dellavedova knows about it, and he's actively involved in it. He is in the Jack White, Ariana Prather mould of being a competitor.
I'm a little worried here that Rob Lowe might have been shooting on a 9-foot hoop in the preseason. He has back-to-back air balls. I'm not sure he's had that ever.
Tanner Groves not through with the call.
That's not going to count because of the blocking foul before a little dump-off pass. And it's interesting. Yeah, Delhi coming back, obviously, from Paris in the Olympics and coming off the bench the last couple of preseason games. Whether this is the new look for United going forward. We know last year it was Delhi, Shea Ely, Chris Golding, and Ian Clark's sixth man of the year. Do they think they need a bit more of Ian Clark's punch to start the game, or is this just Delhi getting some conditioning back into him?
He'll be an interesting watch, Daly, because he was in MVP form early part of last season.
He's turned himself into an offensive weapon.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, back to your question, I think it's twofold. I think he's definitely trying to get some of that conditioning in, but then he's also, I mean, just needed and wants to be on the floor. I don't think he wants to sit on the sideline and just watch.
He'd be one of those players that'd just be constantly bugging the coaches, I reckon. Mortenberg from outside. He'd be nudging.
Absolutely.
He'd be, I'm here. Yep, still here.
I don't think the coach wants him to play too much, but look at him. 2 back-to-back threes. He made one, missed one, but he's out there trying to hoop.
Taking it inside. Bradshaw not able to connect. Bit of a time in the Summer League with Charlotte, Pedro Bradshaw. Rob Lowe bashes his way in.
Here's Flynn Cameron picking up Taron Armstrong full court. And they've got basically sides outside of the big men, the same team from Melbourne United. And where do the minutes, consistent minutes come from Cameron and even Tanner Krebs, who's been playing really well, to slot into this rotation?
Kyle Bowen, the NBL 1 national finals MVP.
That's going to be a foul on Kyle Bowen. Anytime you face guard an offensive rebound, he's going to give a chance to get a foul. Marcus Lee into the game, the NBL champion Marcus Lee. Thank you very much.
I went over and walked along the other side of the court there earlier, Pete, and walked past Marcus Lee, who was just doing his warm-up. There's a couple of kids over in the court just yelling out, Lee, give us a high five. And he smiled at him and walked over and dapped him up.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it.
He's one of the good people in the sport, Marcus Lee.
What I love about the way that Sam Mordenberger started this game is there is no second-guessing any shots, any movements that he makes, because that was a key indicator I took out of NBL 24, was he was second-guessing nearly everything. And that comes a little bit of the yips, a little bit between the ears. But now that he's back, as I said, as a power forward, Adam Ford put in the work with him and individuals in the off-season, and even that catch-and-shoot three he knocked down before. It's what the Snakes need.
You know, the Taipans have been leading for a majority of this game, and I think, you know, even though it's preseason, the Taipans, just like the Bullets, I mean, these games mean so much to them because if they pull out the wins just like the Bullets did, I mean, it's such a confidence boost going into the regular season. This is what your team needs to show that they can hang with these guys because the stars are playing. Matthew Dellavedova is on the court. Crawford was on the floor during the first game. I mean, dang, everyone was on the floor during the Bullets game. Everyone's playing tonight for Melbourne. I mean, if they can pull out these type of wins, it's such a confidence boost going into the regular season.
It's always better to learn from a win too. That's what a lot about the Blitz is let's just try and figure out how we can get better every single game. But that always feels better in a review session the next morning with some coffee on the beach.
Yeah.
As Marcus Lee cops one to the lid from AK Gak.
Slow to rise there, Lee. Of course, he had his injury concerns at the end of last season, and he looks like he's going straight behind for some treatment.
Oh, Rob Edwards got him. Sorry, Rob Edwards got him on the swing through. It was obviously accidental, but probably didn't have to do it. Rob Edwards could have just slid through the gap.
Oh, it says lip busted. That's what it looked like in the corner over there.
Galloway into the game for the Taipans. It does look like Lee's sort of got the nose or the...
It's its lip. It looks like his bottom lip is bleeding a little bit.
They've got the teeth through it, which is
Rob
never
Edwards.
pleasant. Oh, beautiful finish with a little bit of English from Rob Edwards.
He is going to surprise a lot of people.
What do you like about his game, Pete?
Again, just that. The good hit from Tanner Krebs, but putting the head down, being ultra aggressive, understanding that this is Taron Armstrong's team, yes, but they need a leader offensively putting points on the board, and that's going to be Rob Edwards. And I think what comes with, yes, he's been active on social media, but that no one really knowing who you are. You can fly under the radar. You can come in and have an impact straight away. Mind you, he plays really well at the Blitz, which I'm expecting he will. He'll make a name for himself pretty quickly.
And I think that's what makes Armstrong such a great leader is he allows other players on his team to take over offensively or do what they want to do and attack the rim and be aggressive, even though he's going to be the main scorer for the team.
Joel Peterson, Pete Hooley, Ariana Prather with you. His second game of the NBL Blitz on the Gold Coast, supported by Experience Gold Coast. Beautiful day up here today, Pete. 29, sunny.
Beautiful.
Couldn't ask for any better.
I mean, you get that all the time now in Brisbane, don't you? Nice weather.
Listen, I'm loving Brisbane. I haven't visited other places or parts in Australia. You know, the Snakes will see me out in Cairns this season, so I'm excited for that.
Are you a coffee drinker?
I am a coffee drinker.
Okay, so you've come to the right country there.
I am. You know, everyone makes fun of the American coffee, and you know what? I see why.
Yep.
Because we have the worst coffee in all of the world.
Just had to find out before I went that hard. It is without a doubt.
Antonio out there for the Snakes now. Galloway, AK Gak as well. Rob Edwards and Bradshaw still
There's a souvenir for a lucky fan.
Yeah, that's a wild old pass from Gak. Bowen, Dellavedova, Cameron, Bowen and Krebs getting some run for Melbourne United.
John Antonio, another one. Wasn't really in the rotation last year. They ended up not picking up his option this year so they could renegotiate a deal. But we know that quick release, likes to get it up as Rob Lowe after back-to-back air balls, is long on that one. That's the different dimension that he brings to United, being able to stretch the floor, because we know that he's going to knock down more than he misses. This is interesting from Bradshaw early on, because that's not what he's been brought into this team for. Adam Ford went really hard early in the offseason to sign Edwards and Groves because he knew the pieces he wanted to put around, and they wanted a 3-and-D player, which is Bradshaw. Not necessarily putting the ball down trying to make things happen. It's, hey, we need you to get this done.
Melbourne United membership's almost sold out. 3-game membership still available. You can attend your choice of 3 United home games. Head to membership.melbourneutd.com.au, the website at the bottom of the screen there. So memberships.melbourneutd for united.com.au to get involved. 3 minutes remaining in this opening frame. 17-16 the score. If you're just joining us earlier, the Brisbane Bullets defeated the Tassie Jack Jumpers to start their pre-season.
I was commenting on over there behind the Tassie bench. Oh, here we go.
Oh, Jack White going upstairs, just couldn't finish. Seemed to hang there for an eternity. Bradshaw in the corner.
That's
that one rattles home.
It's the one he's got to knock down. The spot-up threes. When you are brought in as a 3-and-D player, everything else is a bonus. Knock down your open threes and lock up defensively, and you're doing your job.
This time White on the lob.
And, you know, Jack White was one of the sleepers, you know, when I was at least coming into the league. I'm like, okay, obviously you've heard the name, but I had to go back and watch some of the film. And when you look at him on the court, he doesn't look like the biggest, strongest, most athletic person on the court, but he has such great skill and gets so high off the ground. His bounce is absolutely insane.
He got bouncier after his Achilles, which is incredible. And it's not, Ariel Hook-Porty was the exact same, right? The way they came back, it's a testament to all the rehab, all the hard work. And as you know, Ariana, it's a very long process to come back from a devastating injury like that.
Absolutely. I never came back. I said absolutely not. Mentally, I just couldn't do it. It was a non-physical, you know, ruptured Achilles. It was the typical get a rebound, breakout dribble, feel a pop, look around, no one's around me, and a ruptured Achilles. Man, so I definitely feel him and so happy for him because it's definitely a tough injury to come back from.
Good to know that he can come back better from it. Lee checks back into the game. We're going to have a timeout here. 2:16 remaining in this first period. 23-18. Joel Peterson, Ariana Prather and Pete Hooley with you. Our coverage of the NBL Blitz. Proudly supported by experienced Gold Coast. 2 more games tomorrow. So early games tomorrow, 1 and 3. Southeast Melbourne, Illawarra kicks us off. Perth and the New Zealand Breakers next. John Relly is just sitting just below us, Pete, with some of the Wildcats Brains Trust taking in the opening night.
That's been everywhere.
Of the NBL Blitz, they have.
Straight from Japan.
Yep.
A few clubs going everywhere. Tassie going halfway through this, going over to Singapore.
Yes, they've got 2 games. They play Adelaide, then they go to Singapore for potentially 3 games over there in the Intercontinental Cup.
Say that 3 times real fast.
Yeah, good luck. Play the champions of Argentina and the G League team, and then potentially the finals game as well. And then, of course, they hit the road to Perth, as the entire NBL does for the start of the season on September 19 at Hoops Fest, which is going to be something very special indeed.
Get a chance to meet Mello.
Yes.
Carmelo. I think that's going to be a big one. A lot of fans are excited about to see the legend in the house.
You'll be spending a bit of time with him, Pete.
I am. Basically, his whole tour I'll be by his side, so looking forward to that.
Is Hoops Fest in the plans for you, Ariana?
It's not. You know, someone has to stay home with the Bubs, and then that's going to be me. Just going to get some cuddle time in and watch online. Two
2 minutes remaining in this opening period. Snakes have been solid out of the gates so far. 6 points to Edwards, to Wardenberg and to Bradshaw. 6 also to Golding, and he scored the first 6 for Melbourne United.
A little extra put in that from AK Gack. Dylan Stith coming into the game.
That's a great story, isn't it? Dylan
Stith out of my mouth.
He's been bouncing around the NBL 1 South. He's played some really good hoops for a lot of clubs. He took the trip up to a trial day, an open trial day in Cairns over the course of 8 hours. He impressed them so much that they signed him up for this season.
And again, straight after talking to 40 about that, he said it was not even close. Ian Clark gets that one to go. He was the clear standout. And I spoke to him last week because we heard about everybody else. We've seen everybody else in the preseason. I asked him how things are going, and he said everybody feels good about their team in the preseason because no one's lost a game yet. But he said he went through a 3-day preseason camp where he really tried to break his team, and they refused to break. He said he threw so much at them mentally, and they just kept coming back for more. I guess as a coach, especially 40, you can't ask for more.
Yeah, it's funny because all the teams do something in preseason, right, to help develop their team. So the Bullets went away for a week, and it was kind of like team bonding around the campfire. And then you look at the Taipans, and I think they calls it like Hell Week or something, because he was really putting them through the gutter, trying to build that just mental endurance.
And it's not for everyone, is it? 40's coaching style, he's open about that. He likes to call it the factory of what he builds and unlocks with players. But same with Scott Roth. Won last year. Scott Roth, the way that he's built up the culture in Tassie, the way that he goes about it, it's not for everybody, but when players buy in, good things happen. Taron Armstrong showing something different we haven't seen from him too much in his game. Oh my.
Golding from deep. Not quite.
That looked good. Jeez, that looks good. His release is so fast. Like, he has such a quick release. It's absolutely unbelievable.
Oh, wow.
Armstrong, the length of the floor, it is swatted by Lee. Belligerently.
He didn't want to shoot that, Taron Armstrong. Having a smile with Marcus Lee now. He was always looking for a pass when he saw the big fella come over. Have a look at this. You can see his eyes darting around. Oh. And Marcus Lee, not sure what he said after.
Haven't seen you in a while, Taron. Good to see you. Just reintroducing himself.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe with a few more colourful adjectives in there.
Listen, I love it. I love to see the passion. I love to see the fire.
He's too nice.
I was a little trash talker. I like a little trash talking.
Polite trash talk. Here's AK Gack showing what he can do.
So 15 seconds remaining in this opening frame. 27-23. It's been entertaining stuff. Taron Armstrong setting it up for the final possession of the quarter. Wants to go at Lee again. Get some separation. Can't get the shot to go. And Stith fights for the rebounds.
They're a little talking while they're walking off the court too. You saw that?
A little bit chippy in this opening frame of pre-season, which is very nice indeed. So quarter time, it is Cairns 27, Melbourne 23 here in this game 2 of the NBL Blitz. It's great to have you with us on ESPN via KO. NBL Blitz proudly supported by experienced Gold Coast. Terrific to be up here on the Glitter Strip for the next week. 15 games of hoops all up and across the 8 days. Quarter time, Golding has 6 for Melbourne United. Dellavedova has 6 as well. Edwards, Wardenberg and Bradshaw all have 6 for the Snakes. Taron Armstrong has 5 and 2 assists. As we take a look at our first quarter highlights, Pete, Chris Golding got it going early. He was made to hit that shot twice in the end. But the Snakes did a pretty good job, and it certainly at the offensive end showed a little bit.
Yeah, exactly right. And again, they're playing with an energy and a hustle that we expect from them every single game they play. They're never going to be a walkover, Cairns, and a lot of the time had a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes last year with personnel and the ins and outs of the injuries. And again, the timing of the injuries for Cairns last year was what really hurt them get off to a strong start. They had the NBA games in there as well. But they also like flying under the radar with Adam Ford. He wouldn't want people predicting them to be a top 4 or a top 6 team because, again, they like to play with a chip on their shoulder. But I like the way they've come out, what they've shown early. Rob Edwards been aggressive. Taron Armstrong's looked really good. Sam Wardenberg, and these are the pieces we expect.
There's a real opportunity for players to shine in these kind of games, isn't there, Ariana? You know, you've got players maybe toward the end of the bench that get an opportunity when they may not expect to, and they can really force their way into a rotation to start a season.
Absolutely. I mean, some people have mixed feelings about having so many preseason games against each other, but I think this is fun. I mean, everyone knows everyone in the league, so you're getting to, you know, see what you see between Armstrong and Lee, like everyone just talking, a little bit of trash talk, and it really makes you just expand your game and dig a little bit deeper when you have so many preseason games heading into the regular season.
Yeah, nothing wrong with a little bit of trash talk in the first preseason game. We like that. Plenty of fans in here too. They've rolled in for this second game of the evening. Lots of Bullets blue, which is good to see. A couple of people with, I saw one with a Will Magnay Bullets jersey out the back, which was a little bit of a throwback.
That feels like an eternity ago,
doesn't it?
Great out. Out of bounds execution there from Melbourne United. Bit of a decoy.
We're talking through that game earlier with Derek, Pete. I sort of talking about Bairstow, of course, former Tassie player, and there's a few Tassie former Bullets, and just didn't even equate with Will Magnay. Of course, he played some great hoops for the Bullets as Illy gets inside.
He's really aggressive in the preseason, Shea Illy. You wonder if we're going to see this kind of aggression when the season rolls around, but this is the way he's going to play. It's a different point of attack that you've now got to focus when you scout this Melbourne United team.
He's been super impressive, and what I love about him is what you saw on that play. He uses his body, so he doesn't go up there soft, but he uses his body and kind of embraces the contact.
4-point play for Shea Illy as well to give Melbourne United the lead.
And Adam Ford is not happy going straight to the bench. Those are the things that you cannot afford to do if you're on the floor for an Adam Ford coach team. And understandably so, he's going to get a substitution straight away.
Dylan Stith coming out of the game and just having a quick word with...
You can even see what he's saying, right? Yes, Dylan Stith just turned it over, but he doesn't care about that. He's saying, I need you to box out down the other end. A free throw offensive rebound, that's unacceptable. I don't care so much about the turnover, it's those little non-negotiables.
Clark, foot on the line. It's been a bit of a theme of the last 24 hours around world sport. Illy goes in again. Gets that to fall. We know what he can do at the defensive end, Shea Illy, but if he can harness this level of offensive weaponry, then he could be a real handful this season. And hopefully, Pete, just stay fit and stay out there.
Well, it's going to change the way, as I said, that you have to scout this team, because a lot of the time you're going to go under the ball screen on Shea Illy. You want to tempt him to shoot. But if he starts really turning the corner and putting heat on the rim, you're in trouble if you go under and get caught up on any of the defenders or you're big trying to squeeze that ball screen. This just adds another element. And again, if you are slow on that and he turns the corner, you're not going to come off Chris Golding. And the way Delhi shot it last year, and he's shown already since Paris his offensive mindset, you're not going to come off Delhi either. All of a sudden, lanes open up. Jack White's a lob threat. Marcus Lee's a lob threat. You're going to have to make a choice.
So first 8 points of this second quarter going the way of Melbourne United. They lead 31-27 early in this second period. Joel Peterson, Pete Hooley, Ariana Prather with you. Great to have your company on ESPN via KO, where you can get every game of this NBL season coming up in a couple of weeks' time from now when we get going out in the west at Hoops Fest, which is going to be a
I'm excited for that
great occasion. Looking forward to it.
A little excited for that. Perth fans, hopefully very welcoming for us all.
Yeah, you're excited for the boombox, I heard.
Well, I'm excited.
You'll be up there with Hayden James.
Damo's promised me that he will hand deliver me a coffee every day. I will hold him to that.
He would too.
I've got a very easy coffee order. I'm not high maintenance.
Nice. What is it? 2 shots of espresso,
Just
a little
latte.
bit of almond milk. Oh, okay.
Just a straight latte. Because that's how I'm going to tell whether, if there's care involved in it. I do judge baristas, and I can see it early, right? I can see based on your first couple of moves whether it's going to taste good.
Really judgmental type operator, Pete?
Well, that's I've been around a lot of people who...
I'm going to be very careful around you now.
I'm a big coffee shouter too. That's what I appreciate, is people who are like, hey, firstly, you offered today, and then you said, hey, I think it's best we pay for our own. And I was like, okay, what are you getting, Joel?
At least I offered.
But then again, if you hit me with some 2.5 sugars, oat milk for the first half, almond milk for the second, hold the milk actually all together, then I don't want to shout your coffee, and you're making it difficult for everybody.
Things on the Nespresso ad that looks like they're half and half, can't really have those. What about you, Ariana? What have you settled into?
I'm a chai latte
That's
type
okay.
of gal, you know? Maybe a little dirty chai,
That's okay, I
throw a
was
little
about-
shot in there, you
Dirty
know what
chai's
I
the way to
mean?
go.
Maybe, a long black if, I'm having a hard day,
Would have been a couple of those early on, sleepless nights with the little one.
Absolutely.
I've been there.
We're getting 4 or 5 hours now, so yes, 4 or 5 hours.
Illy and Armstrong just getting tangled up there at mid-court. Illy takes a seat, but they're all okay. The little one down there with Casey at the moment.
Yeah, it's so cute because Casey walked away and he's just passing them on to Keandre Cook and gave him to James Bateman, just passing my baby along to everybody. But, man, just my
Great to see
pride
this.
and joy.
Great to see this from Casey.
Listen, we're trying to raise a mini Kyrie Irving, okay? He's our Aussie baby, and we're trying to raise a Kyrie, all right? That's the game plan here.
I like that.
Yeah, it could go worse.
No pressure, son. No pressure.
What about the 3 a.m. wake-ups? Casey's put his hand up for a couple of those.
He was early on, but now that the season is getting rolling, it's all mommy. We let daddy get his sleep.
Gross. If he steps out and knocks that down again as well.
Oh, yeah.
This is why you've got a team, and Ariana said it before with Adam Ford, he gives everybody a certain level of green light. Not everybody has the same one, but instills the confidence where if you're open, I want you to shoot it. I want everybody to play.
When he likes lineups where everybody can shoot too.
That's what he's gone to recruit around Taron Armstrong.
Same as Menenga last year with Wardenberg, now with Groves coming in who can stretch the floor. If you're out there and you're open, you're going to get a look in Adam Ford's system, and he's never going to give you a whack for trying your luck, that's for sure. Armstrong getting downhill. Takes a heavy fall. He's in attack mode, which is good to see.
To be young again, you see him attack on every single play, and he's falling down,
Just
getting
bounces
bumped
up.
around, and just jumps right up, and it's like, okay, let's do that again. To be young again. I love it. Loving the aggression.
Of course, from Tasmania, Taron Armstrong. Of a trade, talented sporting family. Now plying his trade at almost the other end of the country. Cairns Taipans tickets on sale now. You can scan the QR code that is on your screen or head to nbl.com.au/tickets to purchase and get yourself into the snake pit this season. Great atmosphere, Pete.
Yeah, you'll be there, Ariana.
Yeah, I'm
How do you deal with the humidity?
Man, it's
Tough
been
in
it's been a little tough to breathe lately, and it's funny because everyone, when I first got here, they were like, it's winter time. I'm like, it's 70 degrees and it's winter. I'm like, what is summer going to be like?
Well, we're due a good summer here in Australia too. If we don't get one this year, I'll be writing a letter to somebody. But it's a hard place for teams to go and play. I say this every single season. You look at certain teams' records, and Melbourne, the one that I was talking about before, it's a hard place. It's Jack White! They missed a couple of them earlier. They keep going back to that Spanish action, and finally Delhi put it on the moneymaker, and Jack White finished it.
There's a little glimpse into what we could see a lot more of this season. White's running the floor hard as well. He's going to take it inside again. Taken out of the cylinder by Galloway, and that'll count.
Well, let's clarify that, because a lot of people understand that in the FIBA rules you can tip it off. We saw Team USA figure that out at the Olympics in Paris. A lot of NBA fans want it translated to the NBA, which I think it needs to be. But if it is in the cylinder below, it's already started to go below the rim, you can't scoop it out. It was good effort from Galloway. In the end, it doesn't matter because if it was that low, it would have gone in anyway.
So some really dynamic stuff from Jack White, which is good to see.
You can hear Adam Ford on the bench. He's screaming, shoot it. Stop second guessing. You missed the last one, but he's hit a couple now. And this is interesting. Because you're going to have to start to respect this at some point. 2 or 3 now on the night, 8 points.
I mean, you called it earlier. He's going to be able to stretch the floor in a way that the Taipans need. I mean, and it's all going to come down to him and whether or not he hesitates. He has to take that hesitation out of his shot and just shoot.
Oh, Bradshaw gets fouled.
And that's Tanner Krebs realised he's a bit overzealous because that's a pretty poor shot selection there from Bradshaw. And here's the Jack White dunk. Just a little simple pick and roll. And Delhi put it. She said, you don't have to be perfect with the pass when you're throwing to an athlete like Jack White. but you will see a heavy load of that Spanish action from Melbourne United. The ball screen with the back screen. And you also going to see Jack White living above the rim.
It's the kind of play you could see them running first play of the game, just to try and surprise a few teams with that action going to the rim.
What I have noticed in the last couple of years, especially with the athletes they've had, I mean, Luke Travers and the JLA, they always get to the Spanish action rather than just setting it up at the start. They do it after side-to-side action where you kind of fall asleep as a defender, and then all of a sudden you've gone side to side and you're locked into Chris Golding or Ian Clark, and that Spanish action happens and you have to worry about where the shooter is, and then it's a lob dunk.
So talk us through Spanish action for those less.
They might run it again here. So it's, if Jack White wants to set that pick and roll now on Delhi, then someone's coming to back pick Jack White's man.
They did it again. There he goes.
So Flynn Cameron's going a little early on that, but that's the idea. You cause confusion. That's going to be an offensive foul. Pedro Bradshaw's just been a little bit out of control these last couple of minutes. But it's really hard to guard because you've got to worry about the ball screen of Delhi turning the corner. And if the big gets caught up on that, then someone's screening the big. And you think about that. If Chris Golding's going to screen for Jack White, what are you doing? Are you going to help on Jack White's man, or are you going to stay with Chris Golding? So it just opens up so many different options.
And it doesn't work unless Jack White cuts as hard as he does. He wants it. So every single time he sets that screen, he's immediately rolling to the basket looking for that lob.
Normally the perfect way to defend it is to switch everything. But again, because they go side to side, you kind of forget that it's even an option. And then you can leave that man wide open.
Golding can't hit. Edwards goes inside. It bounces off Dellavedova and out. Ariana, you've covered WNBA and, of course, have come through the playing pathway yourself. What's your thoughts on the state of women's basketball at the moment with so much talent coming into the WNBA? It looks like the horizons have really expanded for the women's game. We know here in the NBL that the WNBL is coming under the NBL umbrella in the next year or so. Have you been sort of emboldened by what you've seen in that space?
It's like people are finally waking up. I've been trying to wake people up for so long. Did some stuff for CBS News as well. Like, just saying the women's game is by no way, in any way, shape, or form, boring at all. Like, I think people are finally focusing in. You know, obviously, a lot of credit goes to Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, you know, those key players that have really kind of been the face of the game in college and now taking it to the WNBA. And listen, I'm loving the love that all the girls are getting, all the women are getting, because they absolutely deserve it. It's fun. The game is fun.
It's exactly the word to use, right? And again, we saw, and then the Opals girls, the young Aussie girls who are coming through and making it to the WNBA and making an impact.
Essie McBagor.
Oh, unbelievable. Alana Smith, how good was she in Paris? Jade Melbourne, just the next batch that's coming through. And again, we see a lot of it now, right? Social media is it's a horrible place at times, but a lot of the negativity that's coming around, we're talking about Rookie of the Year, all of that, that comes with eyeballs.
Yeah.
That's part of it, right?
Yeah.
Because if nobody's talking about it, then nobody's talking about it. But that's the other side that comes with it. Yes, it can be tough to see some of the things that are online, but it means that people care.
Absolutely. You know, I was having an argument with my husband, Casey, the other day about who should be Rookie of the Year. And the fact that he was arguing with me about whether it should be Caitlin Clark or Angel Reese, I think is just a testament to how far the game has come.
It's hugely exciting. Hopefully,
it's Caitlin Clark, by the way. Just to
you see, I don't want to start there.
Come on, let's go.
Just throwing that in there.
Let's go. I'll have it.
She's averaging like 18 and 7. Obviously, she's doing great. But, I mean, Angel Reese has the most triple-doubles of anyone in the league. Rookie of the Year. I mean, I don't know.
They're fun conversations. They're making Tanner Groves a focal point. This is fun to see. That kind of free-reign Cairns Taipans outfit. They've got no backup point guard, unfortunately. Jackson McCoy away with personal reasons. And Kyle Adam out for 4 to 6 weeks, I believe, which is frustrating because he's their veteran presence as a backup point guard. And no one loves an opportunity just to get on the floor and play more than Kyle Ladnam, so he'd be flat about this. So before we move on from the point, Asia Wilson is one of the greatest players I've ever seen. That's why I love that people get to really appreciate her. I don't even know if she's at her prime yet, but it's fascinating to see how good she is.
It's a competition that's chock full of talent. Of course, the WNBL will be featuring when we go over to Hoops Fest in a couple of weeks. Another massive WNBL campaign is coming up. Looking forward to all of that action throughout the course of the year.
Because, you know, obviously all the WNBA stars, you know, they don't make too much in that league, so everyone leaves the WNBA and then goes to play overseas. So I'm excited to see Dee Dee Richards. She plays for the team out in Sydney, and she was on the Mystics in DC, so I'm excited to see her this season. She did absolutely amazing last year in Australia, and she was like, man, you're going to have an amazing time when you get out there. And so she told me I need to make my way to Sydney. So I'm excited to try to book a flight to see what Sydney is all about and, you know, hopefully get to see her play.
Sydney is a beautiful part of the world. It's very busy. It is. I mean, that sounds obvious. It's a very busy city, but I was there last week, and it is just, it's gorgeous. It's quite different to, for obvious reasons, it's very different to like a Melbourne.
Okay.
Even Brisbane is a different city to Sydney. Sydney's just got a...
Have you been to the States? What would you compare Sydney
never
to?
been.
I've heard
No.
like Melbourne is like
No.
New York. Oh, you've never been to
No.
the States?
I'm very
Wow.
I am.
Melbourne is like
Brooklyn for me.
Brooklyn, New York. Okay.
I am not a worldly person whatsoever, and I'm happy to admit that.
It's okay. You're not missing out on much.
Joel Peterson, Ariana Prather, Pete Hawley with you. Great to have you with us on ESPN via KO. NBL Blitz here on the Gold Coast.
They ran it again. They ran the Spanish action again, but Flynn Cameron was the one setting the back pick. That's not going to get the defenders confused. That's no disrespect to Flynn. He's just not the reputational shooter like they have with Clark and Golding. As Sam Wardenberg, this is the aggression we want to see from him. I'm looking forward to seeing what he does in year 3.
8th point for Sam Wardenberg. Akecha Lear out there, Pete, elevated to the main roster for Melbourne United this season, of course.
Had the game winner in the double overtime, greatest preseason game of all time.
Yep, he was right in the hunt for the MVP in the NBL 1 South with the mighty Mount Gambier Pioneers. Of course, not a great week for the family. Not a great weekend for the family, the Elias. Port Adelaide's heavy loss on Thursday night in the AFL, but a good week in the sense that Akecha elevated to that main roster for Melbourne United based on what he's done in the preseason.
I am stoked you brought that up as a Crows fan. You can keep talking about that as much as you want. That was just a thing of beauty.
So 37-43, just under 4 minutes remaining. The NBL app, the place to get all your breaking news, video content, podcasts. You can read all of Pete Hawley's thoughts throughout the course of the season. Download it direct to your device, nbl.com.au/app. Grab it in the App Store as well. So much content, so if you're staying across all things NBL, the NBL app is the best way to do it. All the stats in there. You can jump into NBL Plus as well. Dive really deep into the competition this season.
See, I wasn't expecting Matthew Dellavedova to be playing this much. I don't think he's left the court in a while, and this just shows how competitive he is because he really wants to win this game. He's doing a lot of talking, trying to get his team on track, and he knows this is a game that they should win.
Already played the 12 minutes, and as I said at the start of this one, Melbourne United taking this game more serious than perhaps they would at Blitz games in terms of the way that Cairns have just had that little, not so much of a mental edge, more of a match-up edge over them for really the last decade. But especially last year. They swept them last year.
Every United player's hit the court so far that's suited up. Edwards step through inside, just can't finish.
I like the move though, and I like the aggression from Rod Edwards.
He's a powerful player, isn't he? Low outside, splash.
Okay. Rob Lowe can knock down the 3 at an exceptionally high rate. I know he's missed a couple. Adam Ford screaming. There's definitely a wet spot. Here we go. The referees have seen it. Rob Edwards slid all the way across the Australia's Gold Coast logo. We're just going to make sure that that's all cleaned up. They've got the big fans on here. Carrara, which is actually a nice breeze down sitting on the media table. Not great for my receding hairline, unfortunately. It's not ideal.
Keeping us nice and cool. Sort of the Adelaide Oval Grandstand style giant fans, Pete. They are very big numbers. Of course, here at the Carrara Indoor Sports Centre, multi-sport venue. So we've got our, the National BMX Training Centre off to our right. So we're the likes of Logan Martin in the freestyle BMX. does some of his finest work.
What a great tidbit, Joel.
And then...
It's a gold medalist right there. What a great tidbit.
Yep. And then the Australian squash outfit down the other end there.
Not as well. You know a little secret fact on that?
No, I don't actually.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I know that squash is a hell of a lot of fun.
Should have started there and finished with Logan.
You're right.
Squash is a hell of a lot of fun to play. I do know that. Of course, later in the week, we'll be down at the Gold Coast Sports and Leisure Centre, so the newer of the two venues out in this part of the world. Along the Nerang River here in Carrara.
It's a beautiful spot.
Yeah. Clark jacks it up. Won't go.
It'll be interesting to see if Melbourne United are a team that shoot a lot of threes this season. Now, you look at the likes of what they had last year. Luke Travers could knock it down, but he wasn't a high-volume three-point shooter. JLA a couple of times. Rob Lowe will take probably 4 or 5 threes a game. Shea Illy's been more aggressive. Don't have to worry about Clark, Golding, or Delhi.
Yeah. CG will take a couple, I reckon.
Continues to set records as well on that mark.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, Illy's gone down awkwardly there. Armstrong just surveying the field. Antonio with that lightning release. He always drives with an intent, Taron Armstrong. He reaches in on Clark there.
And I think that makes it so hard for defenders because every time Armstrong drives to the basket, he draws in all that defense because, you know, they need to help, you know, for anyone who's guarding him. But then you leave your player wide open, and if they start knocking down those shots from deep, then, you know, it'll be a game.
Terrific to have Ariana Prather with us in our coverage this season. Joel Peterson and Pete Hooley with you. As Lowe drives inside. Can't hit. Of course, part of some of those great New Zealand Breakers teams. No Tom Abercrombie in the competition this season. He'll be part of our coverage.
Great man.
One of the nice guys in hoops.
Speaking of legends, I was talking to Mika Vakona behind the Tassie bench in the previous game.
Possibly just about my all-time favourite NBL player.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I loved Mika Vakona. I used to love those Breakers teams. So when I started watching the NBL, it was just Mika Vakona.
Bandwagon.
Wow.
They went through that phase where they were unbeatable, just winning championships after championships. Is that when you jumped on?
Yeah, well, I like the guy that's getting
is that when you jumped on?
20 offensive rebounds a game.
Yeah, interesting.
Come on, mate.
Okay. Oh, as someone who grew up a massive Kirk Penny fan, I'm right there with you.
Yes. No, he was an absolute monster, Mika Vakona.
Loving this from Rob Edwards. I know he's missed a couple, but this is what they're going to need from him, and you can see that it's frustrating him. Pulled the jersey up, probably said a few post 11:30 p.m. words there.
1 of 6 from the field now,
yeah, but
Rob Edwards.
The aggression is what they're going to need from him. He's still got the 8 points, and also when you're a new import arriving in the NBL, you've got to understand there's an adjustment period to the way it's officiated, yes, but also the physicality that comes with the NBL.
Yes.
You've got to be able to play through that physicality, the extra bumps here and there, and understand how it's played. And again, what you can't do is if you're struggling offensively, you can't lose track of anyone you're guarding, but especially if that man's 43 in blue.
His shot is so pretty. Every single time he releases it, he has that high arch on it, that quick release. I love his shot. It is so pretty.
After this, if you ask Casey, best shooter he's ever played with,
no, without a doubt.
I think he'll say it'll be Chris Golding.
Absolutely.
Chris Golding is just a freaking so's that man.
Jack White going upstairs again. We've seen a bit from him in the athletic stakes in this game already.
Every time he goes up, I just want to be like, Mama, there goes that man. Jack White, so fun to watch.
I like that no call. Shea Illy, there was a little bit of a push in there. Rob Edwards wants a flopping call. I think Shea definitely told it. It could have gone either way, but I like that not being a no call.
Woo!
Nothing better as a point guard when you know the defender. Pedro Bradshaw knew where this ball was going, but you, as a point guard, know that if I throw it high enough, it's not going to matter.
So 40 seconds remaining. Golding has that one rattle out.
He'll take 2 for $1 probably.
Puts it on the floor and one.
Hey, this might be second gear.
Yeah.
This might be second gear. We haven't seen this.
Might be shifting. Got out of the traffic jam and he's just shifting up through them.
I thought he had more than 11. I can't believe he only has 11. He's been so...
A couple waved off.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, scored their first 6, including one that didn't count. And he can just sneak up on you, Chris Golding.
35 years old, not slowing down.
Yep.
I think I was doing an age and experience piece that's coming out sometime next week that has every team's age and average games played in the NBL.
And Clark's taken an early minute. He's just snuck out the back as we tick toward...
Just needs to use the facilities, I assume.
Half-time.
Oh, he's back. That's a very quick facilities break.
2-second difference between shot and game clock. Edwards, free throw line jumper. Buries it. And that's a nice way to get to half-time for Rob Edwards, who has been frustrated in that first half, but gets to half-time. All tied up, 49 apiece between Cairns and Melbourne. It's been a really entertaining clash here at Carrara Indoor Sports Centre. Joel Peterson, Ariana Prather and Pete Hawley with you. Ariana, been great to have you alongside us this evening. We're really looking forward to having you part of our coverage. What's planned for the week here on the Gold Coast?
Man, nothing. I'm going to stay at home, be with my little bubs, Deuce, Casey, John, Prather II, enjoy some mommy-son time, and then I'll be back up here on Saturday to watch the Bullets play their last game and then take Casey home with us. So, hey, if anyone needs something to do while they're out here, go to the Wildlife Sanctuary. You saw that promo.
Yep.
Me and Casey went. It was so fun. We got to feed the kangaroos, and it was amazing.
One of 160 experiences within 30 minutes here of the downtown Gold Coast area, Pete. So there's
another great tidbit,
so
Joel.
much to do.
Oh, that one was written down.
Yes, that's written down. That is that's one I prepared
Don't tell
earlier.
me the BMX one was written down as well.
No, that's off the top of the dome.
It's off the dome.
That's off the dome. Absolutely.
We did Top Golf last year. I took the family to Movie World last year too when we were up here. A bit busy this year, unfortunately, I won't be able to do that.
I didn't know there was a Top Golf out here. There's Top Golf.
Top Golf out here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just
hope it's still going.
Yeah, up the highway, that facility. Some great golf courses around here, world-class eateries, of course the beautiful beaches as well. So
good wine store too.
Yes.
I've been working on my swing. With the Wildlife Sanctuary, you have to go. Feeding the kangaroos was on my bucket list.
And you knocked it off in the first couple of weeks you've been down in Australia. How good's that?
It's been amazing.
No mucking around.
I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. I really appreciate the food. I'm a huge foodie, so send me all the food recommendations you guys got.
All right, we'll work through them throughout the course of the week, and we'll send some your way. Ariana, we're really looking forward to having you part of our coverage. Thanks for joining us this evening here, and all the very best for everything that's to come as part of our coverage this season.
Yay, thanks for having me, guys, and I'll see you guys around.
Ariana Prather joining us, Joel Peterson, Pete Hawley sticking around. Second half not too far away, all tied up. Cairns and Melbourne, 49 apiece.
I'm thrilled to tell you about Swim Start, a game changer for our littlest swimmers. Swim Start is making waves by breaking down barriers for learn to swim lessons in Queensland. We believe every child should have a chance to learn this important skill. That's why Swim Start is offering vouchers valued up to $150 for eligible children up to 4 years of age. Parents, carers and guardians, this is your chance to dive in. Check your eligibility online and apply now to create a generation of confident swimmers. Let's make a splash together.
Visiting the Gold Coast for the first holiday, I would say just beware because you might not want to leave. You might want to stay. So definitely a beautiful place to be at. The food, the people, the scenery is great. I would definitely encourage you guys to come out. Bringing your family here to the nice sanctuary is also just amazing as well. So I think it's just a great place. This has definitely been one of the best experiences that I've had so far at the Gold Coast. I would recommend everyone come out and check it out because I'm loving it.
Seeing the koalas with our little koalas.
Play the game any NBL fan can win. Supercoach NBL. Be the coach. Challenge your mates. Win prizes. Head to supercoach.com.au today.
So half-time here at the Carrara Indoor Sports Centre, 49 apiece. We've seen some really good stuff in the early going here between these two teams. Joel Peterson, Pete Hawley with you. Seen a couple of blocks, some offensive fireworks, Pete, and it's evenly poised, certainly, but I think Cairns would be pretty happy with what they've done in that first half.
For sure, and again, I know we're going to look at stats, we're going to break it down, and I hope people aren't too critical of what we see in terms of some of the numbers, but I like the aggression we're seeing from Rob Edwards on the Snakes. Those last two mid-range jumpers, if he can knock those down consistently, it's going to really help him. A couple of lobs for Jack White. Chris Golding's been very good. But we're seeing where both teams can be effective in NBL 25, and that's what the Blitz is about, just slowly trying to put it all together.
It's a building process. It doesn't happen overnight, but there's so much to like about what is on deck. Of course, 25 scouts here across the course of the weekend, Pete. 22 teams. We've got Sean Marks, the Brooklyn Nets GM here, a couple of assistant GMs coming through. We get to see our next stars for the first time this weekend as well. So Malik Lewis getting out there tomorrow. We saw Rocco Zakarski a little bit earlier. Ethan Almansa. We're going to see tomorrow Karim Lopez, the 17-year-old Mexican from the New Zealand Breakers. So there's
next star.
Gee, there's going to be some exciting talent rolling out across the course of the weekend.
It's going to be very fun to watch. And again, these next stars, it's a great crop. It's another great class. And
coming off record success last year.
No pressure, Liam Santamaria.
Liam will be part of our coverage a little bit later in the week as well, which is going to be great to have the insights of Liam Santamaria. Of course, we are here on the Gold Coast, proudly supported by Experience Gold Coast. 160 experiences within 30 minutes of the heart of the Gold Coast. Golf courses, you can sip beautiful cocktails by a pool out in the sun, beautiful clear sunshine weather today. 29 degrees when we made our way up here, not a cloud in the sky. Of course, you've got the theme parks close by. Ariana told us about the wildlife sanctuary as well. Fine dining, you can do it all in the same day. So it is a great place to make your next holiday destination up here on the Gold Coast. Beautiful weather and so much to do within all about half an hour's drive from the centre of the Gold Coast. 49 apiece, the Cairns Taipans and Melbourne United. Of course, this part of the world, Pete, there has been some chat about maybe expansion coming here. A team based out of this part of the world.
Wouldn't be against
we could get used to travelling here, couldn't we?
The expansion talks are heating up, aren't they?
Yeah.
Good reason. Everyone wants a taste of the NBL. And
that was beautifully timed there with the camera shot of the young man eating some watermelon, and you said taste. That was just like you drew it up, Pete Hawley.
Hard to realise I'm in my 6th year? I don't know, it's all a bit of a blur. But also, while we do this, and it is halftime, have you seen the footy score?
Yeah, it's just outrageous.
60-0.
60-0.
Is Carlton still in Melbourne?
Yeah,
what is going on?
I don't think they got on the plane. I don't think they got on the plane, Pete.
If they don't score for a half, fire everybody.
In a final.
In a final.
Yeah, well, the Carlton supporters.
0.
The Carlton supporters will be ready to fire everyone. I tell you that when they, if they don't score in a half, that would be something quite remarkable. So
they need an ambulance at Dan Gorrin's house if they don't score in the first half.
Yeah, they're going to need some assistance somewhere along the line, that's for sure. Melbourne United just about on the floor here. Cairns Taipans are out on the court as well. Plenty of supporters in.
Last time a team was scoreless at quarter time in a final, North Melbourne in 1974.
Don't tell me. Don't give me a North Melbourne negative stat. Thanks very much. Chris Golding will have your head. Half-time here in this second game of the NBL Blitz. 49 apiece. Cairns and Melbourne. Second half is coming up right after this.
Want to stay up to date with all the latest direct from the NBL?
That is enormous.
Well, download the free NBL app now. It's jam-packed with live scores, stats, exclusive content, and much more. Get it from the App Store and Google Play now.
Discover the ultimate in courts, Dream Courts, the official court partner of the NBL. As the leading experts in tailor-made courts, there are so many reasons to choose Dream Courts. Whether for casual backyard enjoyment or professional-grade competition, the fully customisable courts redefine how you play. Dream Courts offers an unparalleled playing experience for everyone. Elevate your game with a Dream Court designed just for you. Visit dreamcourts.com.au to get a quote today.
Play the game any NBL fan can win. Supercoach NBL. Be the coach. Challenge your mates. Win prizes. Head to supercoach.com.au today.
Cairns and Melbourne can't be split at half-time. 49 apiece in the second game of the NBL Blitz. Proudly brought to you by Experience Gold Coast. Joel Peterson, Pete Hawley with you.
Tell you what, this is going to be a great second half.
Isn't it? It's got a bit in it this game,
and
a little bit of spice.
And you know what's not going to be a great second half? The footy. Don't watch the footy. Get on here because the footy is putrid.
As Kenny Smith said many years ago, it's over, ladies and gentlemen. It is over.
Turn the channel. If you are.
Yep, you can just flick across in KO as well to this particular
and
contest.
If you're on your phone or your iPad with KO, you can split screen.
Don't worry about it.
Literally split screen anything else.
Yep. Yeah, split screen the Tiddlywinks Championships or something instead of the footy at this stage. So 49 apiece here. Chris Golding's got 12 points to lead Melbourne United. 8 points to Rob Lowe. 8 points to Matthew Dellavedova. And Pete, 8 points to Jack White. And they have come in very entertaining fashion.
They have. Again, Jack White, the one thing we're going to look for this year is he's definitely going to try and step out and prove that he can knock down the three ball, because that's the thing that probably held him back from cementing his spot over there. He's probably going to get another opportunity in the States, whatever that is, I'm not sure, but it deserves one, and I'm expecting him to have a big impact in NBL 25, and how they use him offensively is going to be an interesting thing to watch.
On the other side of things, Tanner Groves with 11 points for the Taipans has been very, very impressive. So 3 of 4 from the field. He's hit a couple of threes. That's a really positive sign for Adam Ford and his men. We're underway in this second half. Marcus Lee matched up with Tanner Groves. And Clark out there, Matthew Dellavedova, Golding and White for Melbourne. So a little bit of a different lineup to start this second half to what they started the first. No Shea Illy out there. So Dellavedova starting this second half as opposed to Illy. Armstrong, Edwards, Groves, Wardenberg, Bradshaw.
Oh,
Armstrong.
That's going to count.
Hard at White.
Is that a poster? If it's a goaltend, is that a poster?
Depends when the photo was taken. Does the ball need to be going through the rim to
we'll get a
count
replay
as a
of it.
poster?
We'll get a replay of it. Because,
jeez,
he's got those bunnies about him, and he's got the size.
Sneaky. Very sneaky from Taron Armstrong. Golding in the corner, lightning quick. Body's flying everywhere.
Well, foul's called on Golding, doesn't like it.
Does he like many of them?
We're not using a coach's challenge. Let's have a look at this. Have a look at this from Taron Armstrong. Well, this was the foul first. I think Chris Golding might have a good case, to be honest. They're going to clean up the floor. That's why they're taking a little bit longer to clean up the floor, because that's a decent slip and slide.
Yeah, that was wet and wild from Taron Armstrong. That's for sure. Bradshaw to inbound. from over in front of Adam Ford, who's having a bit of a chuckle.
Can also confirm that Carlton have scored.
Yeehaw, well done to them. Adam Ford in the tracksuit pants, a bold choice.
He's got fantastic calves too. Not needed. Not needed. If there's any place you get to flaunt them, and speaking of calves though, the calf goat down the other end, Dean Vickerman.
Yep.
World class.
Yep.
That is Mount Rushmore calves.
Yes, the gastrocnemius of the great man is in very good shape.
Oh, there's Rob Edwards again.
Edwards, what a finish! With a little bit of extra.
I had a little article a couple of days ago about 5 players I'm excited to watch in the Blitz, and he was one of them for this exact reason. Ian Clark let Taron Armstrong fly by, knocks down his first one of the game.
We might have a couple of 100 burgers coming up here, Pete. The way this is playing out, Armstrong tries to float it home. Groves will track down the rebound. He's trying to show off his low post moves. Footwork, gets to his left hand. Beautiful.
Good too. He's been really good. I didn't expect this from Groves.
The big lumberjack.
That's going to be a foul. And one opportunity from Delhi. Rob Edwards has just been caught out of position a little bit on the defensive end. Only going to be his second foul. Not too much to worry about. But he's starting to get it going. Was 1 of 8 to begin. Now he's 4 of 10, which means the 1 of 8 is impossible. 1 of 6.
Yes, correct.
Oh, he's made his last couple.
If he was 1 of 8 and then 4 of 10, he'd be going really well. Maybe 3 of 2 for his last 2 shots. That's good going. 55 apiece. It's great to have you with us. CSPN via KO. You can get every game by the worldwide leader this season, Joel Peterson and Pete Hawley. Derek Rucker, part of our coverage earlier as Brisbane handled the Jack Jumpers. 2 games tomorrow, South East Melbourne, Illawarra. And Perth taking on New Zealand as Bradshaw scoops it inside. 25-year-old, so first international season for Pedro Bradshaw. Ooh. The Kentucky native. Groves can't believe the call at the other end.
Just looks like that's what 40 says is a pit ball, and got smacked in the face, bounced straight back up. Just the way Tanner Groves plays, and Rob Edwards, but they just have Adam Ford written all over them. And that's why you did expert picks, right? The way too early predictions?
Yeah.
I abstained from the wooden spoon, to be honest, because I'm not sure. And a lot of people I saw Cairns were up there, and I couldn't have picked them regardless, because there's just not the way that... It's almost like 40 won't let them fall that low, because he demands to play at a certain level. And if you play at that level of toughness and energy enough times, you're going to win games.
Yep.
If you play at a consistent level enough, you're going to win games, because inevitably every team has a couple of down patches in a year. And when you have that and you're coming up against a hungry Cairns team every single night, they're going to catch you sleeping.
And they're a tough out at home. It's a good shout. So I did have them as the wooden spooner. I mean, you've got to have someone.
Well, I knew that. That's why I prefaced that nicely.
So I didn't, yeah, good on you. I didn't, you just have to, I just couldn't find anyone that look, apart from Adelaide, and who knows, like, they could change coaches 3 more times over the course of the season. Like, you just... You just don't know what's going on over there.
Well, to be honest, I've had 2 opposition coaches in the NBL tell me in the last week and a half that they are hearing glowing reviews out of what Mike Wells is starting to put together and everything coming out of Adelaide. So that's, again, the best case you can hope for.
Is that glowing reviews compared to what the reviews were previously, or glowing reviews generally?
No, I think that's just what he's doing, which is what you want to see.
Kind of like how a light bulb's glowing once you actually turn it on.
Offensive foul there on Marcus Lee. Marcus Lee is either upset at Delhi and Jack White for not feeding him down low, or he doesn't think it was a foul. And it's interesting because Marcus Lee's not a back-to-the-basket big man. He's a pick and roll. He's a lob threat, but you're not going to throw it down to him in the post and say, go and make a spin move. That's not his game.
Second go around with Melbourne United, of course. Marcus Lee, having been signed late in the previous campaign and then spending last year with Tassie.
I don't mind that from Sam Wardenberg.
Yep.
Those are the kind of threes that he's going to have to take, and take them with confidence.
So the rationale for me on Cairns was that there's just so much unknown, and that was almost the reason,
understandably,
that I could see them maybe not having as high a ceiling as the others, because...
And I get it, and I think a lot of people understand that as well, but a lot of the way that I look at games and teams in particular is Delhi. Ian Clark tries to go from the same spot, and Rob Edwards called for the reach-around foul. A lot of people looked at the resumes of the 3 imports they brought in, and you're like, well, this is a guy who averaged 10 points last year in the G League. This is a guy who averaged 9 points in the G League. And I look at it from, this is what this guy's shown, looking at highlights, looking at scouting report. I'm like, that in Adam Ford's system is much more than a 10-point player.
How do they fit?
Don't quote me on this because I haven't got the numbers in front of me, but I think DJ Hoyer only averaged 10 or 12 points a game before he arrived at Cairns, and he was an All-NBL player.
Yeah.
To be able to unlock something, 40 does that well, but also the system that he plays with does that very well.
And then DJ Hogue wasn't at that level, and he had injury issues last year in Sydney,
correct.
which absolutely torpedoed his year, but he wasn't that level when he wasn't in that system.
Which is why I'm very interested, system, yes, and also coaching, right?
Yeah.
The coaching aspect as well, which is why I'm interested to see how Ball Quoll goes this year at the Sydney Kings. He is Adam Ford through and through. Brian Goorjian, obviously, no one better who's ever done it than Gorge, but they have got a lot of talent, they're very deep.
The Kings are going to be a fascinating watch when they get underway on Monday in this NBL Blitz campaign. Joel Peterson, Pete Hooley with you. Great you can be with us on this Saturday night. Wardenberg underneath. They swing it around. Bradshaw had a good look at it. They lost 4 of 5 at the end of last season as well, the Snakes. So they were right in the hunt as Lee lays that one home. They were in the hunt toward the back end of the season before they had a bit of a fade out. We know that things got a bit messy toward the end of last season. But they were there for a long time. So it's not like they were miles away last season.
No, and again, it's always going to be hard, and Cairns fans as well, right? They get frustrated when players go to other clubs or they lose players, and 40 understands they're a smaller market team as Ian Clark kind of struggles from outside tonight in this one. But what he does do, he always guarantees that the people he's going to recruit are going to be high character, but also they're going to be able to respond to a challenge when he challenges them. And guys who need a certain situation to thrive. That's Rob Edwards, that's Tanner Groves, it's Jack White in transition. If you're going to try and foul Jack White on the break, you're going to have to hug him or put him on the floor because he is too strong.
It's a great finish. Wholesale changes coming in for both teams after the timeout. 5:14 remaining in this third period. 62-57, Melbourne United's lead. It's been Cairns who've had control of the scoreboard for the majority of the contest so far tonight. And forward Kerry Williams and the Cairns coaching team getting ready to talk things over. Of course, Dean Vickerman, Jacob Chance, Reece Carter and the Melbourne United crew. Jacob Chance coming off a busy off-season with national duties.
He is the next big thing in Australian coaching.
Hot property, isn't he?
For good reason.
Yep.
There is not many that have spoken of higher.
Am I right in saying Jack Fleming had some national duties somewhere along the line as well, maybe with one of those early Boomers teams in sort of the Asia Cup? So it's good to see some of the assistant coaches that are getting those opportunities, but yeah, it seems like Jacob Chance is right at the front of the line.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. He's going to continue to grow, very young in it, but so well respected. Talking to Chris Golding right now, and a little vibe here. Night one of the Blitz. Cameraman agrees.
Bit of white stripes.
A little smoke on the water.
Of course, season begins September 19. This NBL campaign is going to be so exciting. You can watch live on ESPN via KO as you are now, and Foxtel Sundays via 10 and 10 play. This NBL season, we dream big.
Yeah, and we start that dream in Perth. All I need is So I've got a lot of names of coffee shops in Perth, but for Perth fans, I think we stay
don't worry
close.
about coffee. You got to get those spearmint, the flavoured milk, the Masters spearmint milk.
I've seen some poor choices from people in this world. That was up there with one of the worst.
No, that was good.
I
was a fan.
I need a good club sandwich spot.
Have you had a Pine Lime Big M? One of those ones? Or are you not a flavoured milk operator?
I am a flavoured milk operator, but I'm a good flavoured milk operator. That's,
Come on. It just tastes like a splice. Very
Then
nice
I'll go get a
summer treat.
splice, mate. Like I don't want to drink it in a milk.
Just volume. It's volume.
You've had some great calls today, and you've had some absolute shockers. So get them out of the way in the preseason.
Just warming up. Just getting into things.
Another one we haven't seen a whole lot of in this is Karen Galloway. Now, I went early with saying he'd be in the most improved player conversation.
Yeah, I had that written down.
Speaking of poor decisions, Cameron Lobb to Bowen in traffic would be up there, but there's Tanner Krebs, who I think is going to really contribute in a big way for Melbourne United in NBL 25.
Out to an 8-point lead here too, United. Another coming off a really good off-season as well, Tanner Krebs. Oh, Edwards just can't finish.
He's missed a couple of those at the rim. Just 4 of 12 from the field. Flynn Cameron in transition. That's no good.
Gack passes it into the shoulder of Galloway. They just can't connect. Of course, Jalen back in the NBL this season as well after his stint with the Milwaukee Bucks. So talented, the Galloway brothers, and Edwards and Bradshaw can't link up on that play.
And Forty's just over there saying, let's just settle down. And again, this is the hard part right now. When you've got McCoy, who's your backup point guard away, Kai Ladnam, who's out for 4 to 6 weeks, who's going to get this team set up?
Yep.
You think when the season starts, Taron Armstrong will be playing around 30 minutes a game, but other than that, who's going to be able to really control this team and set him up? It's Kyle Bowen. It's unorthodox, but it works.
It's very effective. Very effective for Kyle Bowen. Shot it at 34% last season, the 3-ball. That one-handed release. Antonio. No, he's got a quick trigger. 11-point lead to United. They've turned the tables here in this third period. Rob Lowe for one more. 16 to 8 in this quarter alone. In fact, it's 19 to 8 so far this quarter after we were tied at 49 apiece.
But this is, we talk about a lot of question marks about this Cairns team because this is the first time we're seeing them, especially early on without their backup point guards. I have a big question mark there. There is a concern about how they can steady the ship and make things happen without Taron Armstrong on the floor and Kyle Adams injured. And then on the flip side of that is if they can't tick the scoreboard over, which they're not doing in this third quarter, they've got to be a lot better defensively because right now, you can see Melbourne United, Tanner Krebs is not letting Rob Edwards touch the ball if he can help it, and that's a travel. AK Gack knocks that down, and apparently his biggest fan is 2 rows down from us.
Yep, really fist pumping with some vigour in the crowd. Cameron. Illy can't hit. Bradshaw's off and running. Galloway trying to use his strength down low. He's a big, physical, imposing prospect, Kyron Galloway, isn't he?
Again, he's a knockdown shooter, and he's an athlete, and he hasn't been put in those positions to succeed. He's only taken the one shot so far, and that's not his game.
And that's in 13 minutes as well.
Dance ball.
Joel Peterson, Pete Hawley with you. Just over 2 minutes remaining here in this third period. Second game of the NBL Blitz on the Gold Coast. Very lucky to be here for yet another year to kick the NBL campaign off in earnest before, of course, Hoops Fest in a couple of weekends' time. It's going to be a tremendous occasion out west. And Bradshaw goes down awkwardly. Cameron took his lunch money.
Oh, hello.
What's Flynn got at the other end? Floor wipers are going to be called on.
Joe Bradshaw, as I said, doing a little bit more in this game than I expected.
United membership's almost sold out. You can still get 3 game memberships. You can take your pick of United games to go to throughout the season with those. Head to memberships.melbourneutd.com.au. UTD as in United. Memberships.melbourneutd.com.au.
Kidding yourself, are you?
Just for those that may be a little bit less, just to be clear. I wasn't going to say Melbourne United and have people type in the wrong link into the Google machine.
That's fair. Well, you saying that and then UTD was self-explanatory, but it's okay. Here we are. This lineup, this is right now.
We've spent too much time together today, clearly.
I know, haven't we? You made me sit in the middle on the fly. I'll never forget that.
Sick of me one day, and I think you chose to sit there, to be fair.
But this lineup here, there's Galloway. That's off the mark. Good hustle there from Bradshaw. There is, you can hear that, and there is a bit going on a couple of rows down from us.
Ketchalier into the game. Dylan Stith out there, Gack.
And this would be 40 just saying, look, down on a couple of bodies. Let me throw this lineup together. Don't know if this lineup would have practiced together a whole lot. With Bradshaw in there, it is the bench unit, but Bradshaw as the go-to guy offensively. Also running the point.
Pedro Bradshaw. Looks like he modelled his shoes off a rainbow paddle pop. As Antonio pulls up for 2. They are wild.
There's 2 childhood ice creams in the last 3 minutes that you discussed. Wasn't on my bingo card as Dylan Stith gets it to go. Good take there. Good strong take. And Bradshaw, as I said, he's a 3-and-D player. That's who they wanted. That's exactly what 40 wanted to round out their starting 5 with. Taron Armstrong, Rob Edwards, we know what we're going to get from him now. We've seen how aggressive he is. Sam Wardenberg is a leading offensive threat. Tanner Groves has been excellent. He's probably the main one to really take away from this game. And then finish it with Pedro Bradshaw. Went to Bellarmine University, Division 2, and then went up to Division 1.
Gilly forcing his way inside. Can't get it to go. Stith rips it down. Shaley having a conversation with the referees. Minute 1 remaining here in this 3rd period. Earlier tonight, Brisbane getting it done over the Tassie Jack Jumpers. James Bateman was excellent in that game, Pete.
He's going to be very good. He's going to be very good because that's a player that the Brisbane Bullets wanted last year. They didn't get him. And they got their guy this time. And he's going to be needed to step up and be an offensive weapon.
Going for some sweet Caroline here toward 3/4 time. Of course, every game, the votes collected, they go toward the Rayborn Trophy for the MVP of the Blitz, and the Logan Bruton's Cup is the team that wins it overall. That was Melbourne United last year, who took home the silverware. Couldn't take it home at the end of the year, but that spellbinding 5-game grand final series.
How good was it?
Live in the memory for a long time to come.
It's a thing of beauty.
Doesn't get much better than what we got treated to last time we had NBL action in anger. And of course, we get the 2 grand final combatants to open the season up.
That's how it should be.
Yep.
Absolutely, that's how it should be every year. Every sport, to be honest.
Tassie's home opener as well. They'll raise the banner against Melbourne United. So their first 2 games of the season.
Not a fan of that.
Yeah.
Because, again, one, it's potentially it's a championship series matchup. Last year we see it twice. I don't know it's hard to try and put it all together, but 2, as you said, their championship banners being unveiled. Kind of feels like, without have nothing to do with the schedule, but here, Melbourne United, this is what we took from you.
Yep.
So if that's the way it falls to be, maybe it's different for the opening game if it has to be that way. But I like that we're getting a championship series rematch earlier. I think last year or the year before we didn't get it till round 10.
Yes, yeah, I think you're right.
It was the last season, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah,
we had to wait a long time. I think Sydney and New Zealand were about the last matchup to play.
Right, and the year before that, when it was Sydney and Tassie, was around round 10 as well.
Yep. So it's good to have them in action early against one another. Golding thought about it.
4
on the clock.
Oh, here we go.
No, offloads to Golding. He doesn't need an invitation.
John Antonio just fell asleep on that. With the clock winding down, you need to just get to number 43. Don't worry about anybody else. Just find Chris Golding. Let someone else try and make a tough shot. That's going to be a foul on Dylan Stife.
Hold on from Aaliyah to keep the possession alive.
Tell you what, there might be a little rivalry brewing here. A little physicality and everything that's happened in the past. The way Cairns have played against them.
We like that. Saw it a little bit in the first half. Ariana Prather pointed it out. She was part of our coverage in that first half. Flynn Cameron coming back in. One of the great warm-uppers, warmer-uppers, however you want to say that, Pete. He goes at it a million miles an hour in warm-ups.
I wouldn't say any of the which ways you just did, but he does. Him and Ben Air.
Yes.
You get to a game as early as you can, maybe an hour before the game, and they're breaking a sweat going out at 110 miles an hour.
Aaliyah can't hit either at the line. So Bradshaw coming back the other way. He likes to look at the 3 ball. It's a little bit off. Aaliyah scoots in for the rebound.
That's not the shot. Not the shot. No, they're trying to tick the scoreboard over. Trying to be that leading offensive guy with the lineup they have. But you can get a better one. Especially when you are more of a catch-and-shoot shooter, and then you give that up down the other end. And Delhi should have made him pay.
Just can't beat the buzzer. But Melbourne United have taken the impetus in the ball game, 70-64. They lead at three-quarter time over the Cairns Taipans. Second game of this NBL Blitz on the Gold Coast. Proudly supported by Experience Gold Coast. It's yours to experience here on the Gold Coast. The sun's shining. Plenty of people in here at the Carrara Indoor Sports Centre. And the players putting on a real show. They're going to be doing it for another 7 days after today as well, which is great to see. Joel Peterson and Pete Pooley with you. Game number 2 of 15 across the NBL Blitz. Three-quarter time, 70-64. 12 points for Chris Golding. Jack White in double digits for Melbourne United. Rob Lowe as well. And Matthew Dellavedova, who's got 11 in 18 minutes off the bench. Rob Edwards has 14 on 4 of 12 shooting for the Taipans. Tanner Groves has 13. Bradshaw 12. He's 2 of 7 from the field. 1 of 5 from downtown. 2 of 8 in fact. He's Pedro Bradshaw. So hasn't had a sweet shooting night. Shooting 34% from the field. The Taipans, and 22% from downtown. 31 free throw attempts though.
It's the shot selection in terms of the threes, I think, that Adam Ford will look back on and just be like, we need to be a little smarter at this with the pace of play. Yes, we want to play fast, we want to play free. But also, you got to understand who you are. And again, we're going to see Pedro Bradshaw more and more. I think he's going to be very important to this team. But especially those knockdown, those spot-up corner threes, that's the one. But maybe it's in transition or the quick ones where that just comes around the other side and let the ball move side to side.
Couple of games tomorrow. Southeast Melbourne and Illawarra, Perth and the New Zealand Breakers are our games for broadcast. They're a little bit earlier in the afternoon on the Sunday. So our last 2 games here at Carrara before we go just down the road to the Gold Coast Sports and Leisure Centre. So the newer venue constructed ahead of the Commonwealth Games here a few years ago. So 1 o'clock and a 3:30 tip tomorrow. You can get them on KO through ESPN. It's the same way you tune into us at the moment. And we see Justin Tatum and his Hawks, who have had a little bit of an interrupted pre-season and maybe not the biggest lead time. The new look Southeast Melbourne Phoenix.
Do you mean interrupted by Justin Tatum's World Tour? Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, he's absolutely. Potentially with the Larry O'Brien Trophy at different stops, I'd say.
And a gold medal.
Yep. And what an off-season for the Tatum family.
I'm excited. Darius Days, what a signing that is.
Yeah.
He looked very good against the Hawks the other night.
Come out in the Illawarra Mercury and declared a championship.
Yeah, it's a bold strategy, Cotton.
Let's see if it pays off for him.
I like the confidence. Here's that Spanish action once again. And that's exactly what happens. When you're worried about Ian Clark's the shooter coming off, you've got to stay attached to him, and then you're worried about the lob threat in Marcus Lee, and you forget we've also got to stop the ball. There's a heavy dose of that in the Melbourne United offense.
So what do you like about Darius Days from an Illawarra perspective?
Oh, he's going to be one of their go-to guys. As Rob Edwards gets one to go, and he's got some words to say. I don't know if he's talking to Delhi.
Big shot, Rob.
Might be talking to Dave Barlow.
Oh, Marcus Lee with a thunderous jam.
This is why the team build of Melbourne United is so good, because they've got guys who turn their head to get in the lane like Delhi and Shayili, and they're not afraid to lay it up like Shayili did before, the little floater from Delhi. And if you overcommit at all, the lob threats that is Marcus Lee and Jack White, they'll make you pay every single time.
Edwards feeling himself. Tried for another. Melbourne by 7. Clark back the other way. He's so cool and calm and composed, Ian Clark.
Well, that's a travel. There's no whistle. They've heard a...
Oh, golly.
There's a song that had a siren in it. That was not the siren of the scoreboard. That's the siren of the scoreboard there. It sounded nothing like it.
They are going to give them the ball back here, they can.
I mean, to be fair, Melbourne United stopped as well, thinking it was a timeout. But no,
you don't see that every day. That's almost
sounded nothing like the actual one.
That's almost Shackman a full level stuff. Tanner Krebs is up and hobbling in the back court. Antonio once, twice blocked. Jack White says, nah, not biting.
You just can't. It doesn't matter how far Jack White jumps past you. He's got the athleticism.
Krebs in rhythm.
Look at Marcus Lee hustling underneath.
And he just hooked it down. Looked like an AFL ruckman, just tapping it out the side.
Needs a sub here. Tanner Krebs came up sore after. I wonder if he just banged knees. It looks like he just banged knees with Rob Edwards, I reckon. Right flush in the middle.
It's the last thing you need, isn't it, when you get through and you're ready for the pre-season, and then you pick up a little niggle or a knock. They'd all be hoping just to get through cleanly.
He's rubbing the outside. Hopefully that's just a bit of a stinger. Good take there from Gak. Marcus Lee now a little sore after that one.
He's got a lot of potential. This man spent some time NBA Summer League and had some very good NBL 1 basketball over the last couple of seasons. Of course, the youngest of 3 brothers. Saw Gorjok in the earlier game. So much to like about him, Pete.
Yeah, he's got untapped potential for sure. Remember the games they played against Washington, NBA games, and he was outstanding.
He came across Illy there, and Shea Illy slaps the hardwood.
Been very aggressive again, Shea Illy, once again in the preseason. 8 points, he got 5 assists. Rob Lowe's got the 10 boards. Is this your computer?
Yep.
The non-inverted mouse pad is really frustrating me with on the Mac.
You're
what are you doing?
Well, you're taking issue with me today. I don't know what I've done to you.
Inverted.
It's getting personal. We're going to have to go to some counselling after this or something. We haven't even got to the pre-season and you're already up me for the rent. Jeepers.
Mid-season form, baby.
Joel Peterson and Pete Hooley, your bickering couple. ESPN by KO. Yeah, every game of this NBL season, of course. Sundays on 10 and 10 play as well.
It's huge. It's huge for the league, the growth of the sport in Australia. Rob Edwards, if he can live in the mid-range, as I said, I think he's going to have a lot of success there. But he is talking trash to everybody. He's talking trash to Ian Clark.
Yeah, he's there barking at each
Ian
other.
Clark's having a bit of a smile. Oh, no.
Illy whips it out to Clark. He almost gave Edwards one to go on with. Armstrong just assessing things. Edwards back the other way.
Hey.
Now he's talking to the crowd.
Hey, the microwave. That's why he's called the microwave. I told you you'd know his name by the end of the Blitz. You're going to know it by the end of day 1.
Rob Edwards.
Started 1 of 6. He's got 22 points. And he's having a lot to say. The little edge that he's playing with, that's what I said. He's going to show people who he is, because this is what Adam Ford wants. Have a look at that. He's an exciting talent.
He's 6 of 10 over his last 10 field goal attempts, so he has worked his way into proceedings, that's for sure. Although Melbourne United lead, it's a fragile lead at 4 points, 78-74 with 7 minutes remaining. Nice crowd in here tonight, plenty of kids in their local association colours and NBL colours or NBA colours as well. Lots of Brisbane Bullets blue floating around the place, which is good to see. And plenty of green as we came in. That was noticeable, Pete. We made the drive in earlier and there was plenty of Tasmania Jack Jumpers green. You can still get tickets to Cairns Taipans game to head into the Snake Pit throughout the course of the season. Scan the QR code on screen or go to nbl.com.au/tickets to purchase and be part of the fun up in far north Queensland this season. As you can tell, Snakes fans, there's a lot to like in one Rob Edwards. He's doing some really nice things out there at the moment. Laying down the challenge to this Melbourne United team. They've got 6 scorers in double digits, Melbourne United. Lowe and White, as well as Illy, have 10. Talbot-Over and Clark have 11. Golding has 12. Groves has 13 for Cairns. Bradshaw has 12. And Rob Edwards has 22 on 7 of 16 shooting. And he's got the rock at the moment. Golding locks him up. Edwards gets it back. Oh, Lee underneath decisively away from Wardenberg.
He's one of the best wall-up players in the league. The way he jumps straight up and then can just try and use his length to block the shot after that. He's so disciplined in that action. That's why Tassie was so good last year, because Will Magnay's the other one. Those two combined, there's not many better in the league who jump straight up and don't foul like that. And there's the brain fade from AJ Gack.
Trying to get the hit-ahead pass to Taron Armstrong. And Gack's coming straight out. We'll have a chat to Adam Ford on the way out. Golding rises up. Groves with another rebound, number 7 for him to go with his 13 points. Bradshaw's got 12 and 8. Calder Gack had 6 and 8 before he checked out of the game. That one rattles out. Jack White's got 7 rebounds to go with his 10 points, and Rob Lowe's got a double-double. He's got 10 and 10. Getting it done, the veteran, and we've got a wedgie, Pete.
We've got a blitz wedgie.
Doesn't sound hugely comfortable, a blitz wedgie. It's all resolved.
You liking the new blue for Melbourne United?
Yeah. Yeah, it's
the logo, the
I don't mind it.
New brand. Got a lot of special meaning behind it. I think the jerseys look great.
Yeah, I like the more vibrant blue. I think at their home venue, under those sort of under that lighting and the way that
the alternate one too, the alternate jersey I like.
Yeah.
So this is what I didn't realise until last year or the year before, that clubs actually have the opportunity to wear whatever colours they want. I mean, we saw it with New Zealand when they started to go in some wild colours, but as long as they essentially get in first saying we want to wear this colour in our home games, then they can wear that. United falling asleep on baseline out of bounds, and Tanner Groves has been a surprise packet for me tonight, but I've liked what I've saw.
15 points now, Tanner Groves is up to. A few teams rocking new jerseys this season. Talking earlier with Ruck that Tasmania, of course, have got the gold patch on theirs.
Love that addition.
Especially with the Tassie green as well. Just a different shade of green this year too. Subtle difference on the Tassie. They've got the map on the back, which I like. Some nice details in that Tassie jersey. The Melbourne United certainly a more simple design. Cairns have gone for that snake print that you can see now with Rob Edwards.
Love the Indigenous down the sides. More teams are looking into that. And obviously, Indigenous round has some of the best jerseys every single season.
Absolutely. It's a real feature of the competition.
Here's Taron Armstrong.
The thievery from Armstrong. And the finish. Taron Armstrong showing his wares. And being celebrated by the crowd.
I'd like to see a little bit more from him in keeping the ball in his hands and being a bit more aggressive and assertive in the playmaker. And I tell you what, this woman is having a ball. There it is on the break. And luckily for us that our fantastic broadcast cameras are located where they are. If they were right where we are, we'd be in danger of like a pirated movie look with it.
Yes.
When she keeps standing up. You would miss a whole lot because she is active.
Yep, the arms are going like one of the blow-up people at the car yard.
Yeah, good call. There you go. One of your better ones. You're back.
Got to take one win out of the night. Over halfway gone in this final period. Joel Peterson, Pete Hooley, back to a one-point game. All of a sudden, it's been an entertaining contest this Saturday night. Certainly more so than other sporting codes that
will be a step back going left.
Happen to be happening. Here is Golding. Fouled on the way through by Groves. He's not happy with the call.
It's hard to guard, especially when you're a big man and you've switched onto it. So he's saying to kick out, but Chris Reed's saying that's not what the foul's called on you. You got his hand.
So Golding will go to the line to shoot a trifecta of shots. 3 of 10 tonight from the field, Chris Golding. 2 of 9 from downtown. Just a 1 2-point attempt, which he connected on. Runners up last season, Melbourne United. We know they've got that hunger, they've got that championship DNA. They've got all kinds of depth. Do you think they come into the season as the favourites? If you were framing a market in your mind?
Who?
Melbourne United.
This year?
Yeah.
No.
You got the Kings?
I think you have to. That's the team that, again, the talent, but Melbourne United will be up there. I've got United for sure because
that's an awkward one for Rob Edwards, who went up. So the ball was dead, and he was going to the hoop and sort of pulled out of it, and in pulling out of it, he's turned the ankle.
He's got a flat tire on that. Hopefully he's okay.
Gee, that's not what you need.
I'm going to look here. So that was the foul, and everyone had stopped, and right there, just when he went to take off and come down, sorry.
He's just dragging that left leg a little bit as he walks over to the bench.
Yeah, he just rolled the ankle ever so slightly. But back to, so I think the Wildcats are going to be very good. I look at, basically when I'm looking in the pre-season predictions, I look at what a team was like last year. Did they get better? And did they get better in areas they needed to? When I'm looking at Perth, did they adjust rebounding? Yes, to a degree. I think Amanza's going to be a very good dynamic player for them the next half. But Dylan Windler comes in with a knack for rebounding in the position. Christian Doolittle understands what he has to do. And they put more shooters around. So they have got better in those positions. And then Melbourne United, they're always going to be around the mark because defensively they're going to be one of the best defensive teams in the comp, if not the best one, because they just have the pieces, yes, but also the way they play and the way Dean Vickerman coaches. Sprinkle that in with championship winning experience that's been there, and a hunger now to get back after what happened last year. Add in Jack White, and they're going to be right around the mix.
They haven't had a lot taken away, have they, this Melbourne United team? And we talked about it earlier, some of the unknowns. You can see Tanner Krebs at the back of the bench too, which is good to see him.
It is, he's limp. He's got a pretty heavy limp. He's getting iced up on that left knee, so hopefully that is just a knee knock.
Yep.
But he's one I said he's going to be very important for Melbourne United in NBL 25.
Oh, Armstrong with the hops again. Off the feed from Groves, and now Taryn's pulled up a little bit sore. Now that's the last thing the Taipans need. He looks like he's up and going again. Golding from outside.
He's going to come out here, Taron Armstrong, I think.
Oh, golly. So Edwards has been able to stay in the game. And the microwave is continuing just to spin. He is working on high at the moment. Rob Edwards, 83 apiece, 4 minutes remaining. Wardenberg pokes it away from Dellavedova. The big fella in the open floor puts the head down. Burrows his way to the basket.
Yeah, Rob Lowe was standing there for about a week. That was a very easy call. As I always say, if you're getting a Euro, you've got to change direction. And you can't Euro going forward. And now he's the little ginger, Sam Wardenberg.
Oh, no.
Taron Armstrong and Rob Edwards both coming out immediately after you say that they are going to be able to stay in the game.
How my medical diagnosis is going. Scan the QR code below to sign up for free to NBL Plus. You can access archive footage, in-depth stats, and exclusive partner offers now. Jump on the QR code. You can dive deeper into the game than ever before with NBL Plus. Clark just throws that at the rim.
Now, I have heard a lot of reports coming out of the preseason that Rob Lowe's had some big dunks in traffic during that. I don't think that translates to throwing lobs in traffic to Rob. Hannah Groves, the point guard. Now he looks a little sore after going down there.
You'd hardly even given him time to get up. Well, they can just need to stay healthy for the rest of this game. We see Armstrong out the back doing a little bit of a test with the physios that we can see from our vantage position here. Joel Peterson, Pete Hawley with you. Back for plenty more action tomorrow. 2 games coming your way.
This is a very interesting lineup here for the Taipans. Wardenberg's playing the 3, Gack's playing the 4, and Groves is playing the 5. And what that turns into is Rob Lowe turning the Jets on down the lane and laying it up.
Gack goes reverse on Lowe and draws the call.
Number 2, Rob Lowe.
Coming up for their 34th and 35th free throws here, the Taipans. Melbourne United have been to the line 20 times. Golding 7 of 7 at the stripe.
Very aggressive, which is good to see from the Snakes when their 3 ball wasn't falling.
27%, 6 of 22 on the night.
One more time, ladies and gentlemen. Big
Can
round
chalk
of
4 of
applause
those up to Edwards and Groves, who are 4 of 9 between them. So the rest of the team 2 of 13. Gack rattles the first one in. Gets it back to a 1-point game. We're going to go down to the wire in this second game of night 1 at the NBL Blitz. Proudly supported by experienced Gold Coast. Dream big in this NBL season. And Clark throws that one away looking for Illy. Haven't called a backcourt, but he
Vickerman not happy.
Threw it out in the process.
They want to win this game. Normally we see teams potentially mix up rotations and lineups in the first couple of games, and that last game, that last real hit out before it tips up for real, they try and really make that almost a match simulation, but they're doing the opposite way here. A little bit Melbourne United. There's Pedro Bradshaw. It's going to go to the free throw line.
Melbourne have got Brisbane and the Hawks here at the Blitz. Cairns have got Melbourne tonight. So Cairns will find out a little bit about themselves at the Blitz because they've got Melbourne, Sydney and Perth. Oh. So that's a bit of a murderer's row of opponents. They start the season against Illawarra in Cairns.
We're going to get a coach's challenge.
So coach's challenge.
There's been some new rules, tweaks and stuff in the coach's challenge. One thing I would have liked to have is a shot clock on the coach's challenges. I thought last year coaches got away with too much time of looking for replays, looking up at the big screen for replays, or waiting for their video attendant on the bench. I think you've got to be 5 seconds or something. 5 seconds, or it's like, okay, if you want to challenge that, maybe you get one quick question to the player.
So a lot of the changes that we will see, they're not wholesale changes in this NBL season.
They're
but
common sense changes.
yeah,
That's what they are.
And a lot of them aimed at really tightening up sort of procedural matters, essentially, to just get some time back into game.
Well, that's the one side of it, is yes, the timeouts and trying to bring people out. And again, that's going to be the instruction starting this week. We're going to see delay of game warnings. We're going to see all of that. And it has to happen because we are trying to speed that up. We are trying to continue to speed up the game. We don't need this to drag out. And a lot of it is, to be honest, like you see there, Melbourne United, I know it was a coach's challenge, but came out quickly. A lot of it really is assistant coaches. They grab a player here or there, and then they're all slow to get out. So everybody's got to be on board. But the big coach's challenge changes is the technicality, right, of, I called a pushing foul. Well, clearly it was a hands foul, so I'm going to challenge that.
Yep.
That's gone. If it's a foul, it's a foul.
Yep.
That's common sense. We saw that last year. That was a good challenge there from Dean Vickerman. They win that, so it's going to be a jump ball. And I'm not sure. I have to go back and have a look. I think the other one they were talking about, whether it is if there is, say, a foul in that one where it's another player on your team, if it's in the actual play, we just want to get the actual right call. So if that foul was called on Shaylee and it wasn't, but Chris Golding just hacked it, then we're going to move that foul to Chris Golding if it's challenged, because it still was a foul on the play.
Yep, which is, again, does make sense.
Well, basically, if we're going to use technology, we're going to get the right outcome. That's what it is.
So I guess the big example last year was that Perth-Melbourne game.
Very smart by John, really.
Overtime game.
He wasn't the only one who figured it out very quickly. Scott Roth was another where, hang on, there's a little flaw here in the rules.
So you can read a little bit more about those changes if you're interested on the NBL website. They're explained in detail there. So one of just the subtle tweaks that we'll see throughout the course of this NBL 25 campaign. Under 2 minutes remaining here. 85-84, and what's been an entertaining clash, and Ian Clark putting a show on.
Yeah, they're still going the big lineup here for Cairns, with Rob Edwards and Taron Armstrong a little banged up. But this is exactly what's going to happen with that.
Clark steps back and buries it.
And 40 says, we're just going to play through it. We're missing our two playmakers, a little banged up. So we're going to have our big fellas bring the ball up, and it's back-to-back turnovers. That looked like a foul, but they got away with it.
Bradshaw picks himself up. He's okay.
And I like this from 40. 40 understanding, look, this is pre-season. I want to see how my players respond. Yes, obviously we'd like to win this game, but they've had back-to-back turnovers. This is a lineup I doubt has ever practiced together. Gack, Groves, and Wardenberg on the floor at the same time. So let's just see how they respond.
Clark, White, Lowe, Golding, Illy out there for Melbourne. There's a different looking lineup out there at the moment with Bradshaw and Antonio for the Snakes, as Pete mentioned. United can put the skewer through them here. Beautiful feed from Clark. White cutting baseline. And that could be a sign of things to come this season. And what a sign it would be for Melbourne United fans.
Antonio's got to let that fly. That play was designed for him. In the end, you get Gack trying to make a play, but it was pretty well defended by Rob Lowe.
Bradshaw jacks it up and connects.
Well, here we go.
They might have a chance to keep this moving. Illy comes in over the top of Bradshaw, and it'll be a Cairns ball.
Speaking of rule changes, I've got something I'm going to start the petition for. I'm not going to give it away yet. I might write it up and everything before, so I get a bit more.
Any hints?
A bit more nuance to it.
What area are we talking in?
We're going to make things a bit more exciting.
Okay. Oh yes, I'm with you, and I know, and I agree.
Just in the Blitz.
Little inside joke, but
just in the Blitz.
Inside baseball between you and I, but yep. I think that'll be a well-read article when that lands on nbl.com.au, and one that I think plenty of people will agree with. Just depends on the strength of your position, whether you can get it there. 92-87, you're a man of influence. I'm sure you can make that happen. Oh, Gack's just lost the rock. Had a critical moment. If they were going to have a chance in this game, the Snakes, that would have been necessary to it. And Melbourne United will get the ball back with under 45 seconds remaining, up 5. And now they can try and just pull the air out of the ball. Clark to Golding. This one's going up. Not going down for CG. Oh, Bradshaw lost it in flight. The pass from Antonio. He just couldn't turn around quickly enough. And a timeout here for Dean Vickerman, who wants to have a look at setting something up with 17 seconds remaining. We spoke earlier in the early game with Ruck about the situational opportunities that this presents to get something drawn up and then see how you go and execute it.
Exactly right. Yeah, exactly. Just get as many situations as possible. That's the beautiful thing about the Blitz. See what they do draw up here. So he'd be basically going in there saying, we're going to assume we're down 2. We're going to run this play as though we need a 3, or how do we get an absolute score?
I'll have plenty of opportunities on this front across the course of the weekend with any luck. So across the course of the week, I should say. Melbourne with Brisbane and Illawarra here on the Gold Coast. Through until next Saturday, every game on ESPN by KO. We're here proudly supported by Experience Gold Coast. 160 world-class experiences within 30 minutes of the Central Gold Coast. You're not going to get that in many places.
What do you reckon we're going to get here from this last play from Melbourne United?
I feel like you sort of think you're going to get a Chris Golding 3. I think it'll be drawn in another direction.
I think it's a Jack White lob, I reckon. Had a lot of success with that. Used Golding as a decoy.
So 14 on the shot clock. Would they be almost looking to... So they'll be playing to the 14 here, obviously, and trying to get something moving a little bit quicker. Maybe press off it. See what they've drawn up.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter when Cairns are going to double the ball every single time. It still ends up with Jack White, so that works out.
Got there in the end. He's been good, Jack White. 14 points. Super efficient too. 7 of 9 now. 7 rebounds. Rob Lowe's got a double-double of 12 and 11. We saw Marcus Lee a little bit sore earlier in the game. Tanner Krebs hasn't played much part in his second half after coppering a knock to the knee. Taron Armstrong with a gimpy ankle. So too Rob Edwards for the Snakes. So hopefully they're back when they play Sydney a little bit later in the weekend. And they'll get another look here, Melbourne United. And they'll just walk the ball. Golding for 3 at the buzzer. And the winners of last year's NBL Blitz start their campaign this year with a W. They went all the way last season, Melbourne United, and fell at the final hurdle. And they've hit the ground running in NBL 25. 94-87, they defeat the Cairns Taipans. They had to come from behind to do it. The Taipans leading for most of that first half. And some really bright sparks out of that for Melbourne United. The return of Jack White, particularly pleasing. Rob Lowe with a double-double, Pete. They'd be in parts tonight. You'd think Dean Vickerman had sort of ticked that off and say, yep, job done.
Yeah, for sure. And again, told you they really wanted to win this game because it doesn't mean anything in the grand scheme of things, but they sound like a broken record and notoriously struggled to play against Cairns. So this is just good to get one win over a team that you've had some trouble with in the past. But I think both teams will take a lot that they can work on for sure, but also a lot of positives out of that. Rob Edwards for the Taipans. That's what I expected to see from the Blitz. So he's going to be fun to watch, but United are going to be around the mark again because when it matters most, they're going to be defensively one of the best teams in it. They can also put a lot of points on the board at the right time as well.
Dellavedova was busy early for Melbourne United. The imports, Pedro Bradshaw and Rob Edwards, they sort of came in and out. Took a little while to get a foothold in the game. Tanner Krebs was stroking it early before he came out. Cole Bowen didn't see a lot of game time, just the 11.5 minutes. Dylan Stith made a couple of nice plays, and then much of the second half for the Snakes belonged to that man, Rob Edwards.
Yeah, it was fun. He was talking a lot of trash too. That's what we like to see. And again, Melbourne United, it wasn't a whole lot of tricky offense. It was just being very solid, and they kind of picked the Snakes apart when they had to. Mind you that Armstrong and Rob Edwards sitting down with a little couple of niggles at the wrong time definitely isn't ideal. But I think both teams will take a lot out of this. Again, it's a long season. It's just, you're both coaches. If you're coaches all around the league, what do we want to improve on over the next 7 days? Let's tick those boxes, and I think both clubs would have done that tonight.
So more than 1 million people through the doors at NBL games last year, and we've had plenty here at day one of the NBL Blitz on the Gold Coast. Proudly supported by Experience Gold Coast, the only destination you can watch world-class basketball, hike through an ancient rainforest, sip cocktails by a luxurious pool, squeal on a roller coaster, discover diverse wildlife and savour the finest of dining, all in the same day. So we're here for another week. 7 more days of action coming from the NBL Blitz. We're back here tomorrow for 2 games, Southeast Melbourne, Illawarra, Perth and New Zealand. Then we move down the road to the Gold Coast Sports and Leisure Centre, and looking forward to keeping it all going there. Pete, nice to spend the day with you and this game with you. Look forward to doing it more throughout NBL 25.
Likewise, mate. Likewise. Look at a great call.
Come off it. Pete Hooley, NBL champion, with you. Thanks for your company this evening as well. 2 games. The Brisbane Bullets win the first over the Tassie Jack Jumpers. Melbourne United get the job done over the Cairns Taipans in game 2. Make sure you're with us tomorrow, 1 o'clock Eastern time for the first of the games. Southeast Melbourne, a new look side facing the Illawarra Hawks in the first game tomorrow. But for now, on behalf of myself, Joel Peterson, and all our crew behind the scenes here, thanks for your company tonight. Melbourne United winners by 7 to close out night 1 at the NBL Blitz.